lacrosse friends, welcome to the 2014 Baggataway Cup Championship Finals. It will be the Guelph Gryphons and the McGill Redmen in a rematch of last year's final that saw the Gryphons win 14-11 and capture the Baggataway Cup. I am Stephen Stamp. I'm joined by Malcolm Westhaver and Pat Gregoire down on the field, and we're expecting an exciting game today. We can't wait to get this one going. We're going to see our players to watch for today, and from McGill, he had a huge game yesterday. Connor Goodwin, he is central to their offense flowing.
Oh, absolutely massive day yesterday for Goodwin. Goodwin known more for a passer in the regular season, but 5 goals, 9 points overall. He's going to be tough to stop if Guelph wants to repeat as champion.
And Goodwin can also play in the defensive zone. On the other side of the field for Guelph, we're looking at a guy who's all offense. Mike Burke is an absolute shooter. 5 goals yesterday, made a huge difference for their team in their win over the Brock Badgers, a 1-goal win in the semifinals. And you see he's got 7 goals in the 2 playoff games. Mike Burke is a real finisher who helps them out. Of course, they've got such a deep offensive group with with Curtis Knight and Ryan Serville and so many players. Jordan Critch, what a team they've got, and it's going to be an interesting matchup. That Guelph offense against the defense of McGill, which is a great team unit, do such a good job of limiting opportunities.
I was going to see a great game. They missed another name on that Guelph roster, Brett Albakis, tying goal and game-winning goal yesterday for those Gryphons. And we're going to throw it down to our man on the field, Pat Gregoire.
Hey, guys, thanks. I spoke with Tim Murdoch, head coach of the McGill Redmen, earlier today before the game. He gave a ton of credit to the offense of the Guelph Gryphons, especially Curtis Knight, calling him, if not the best player in the league. But he's confident that his LSM, Quentin Bradley, will make his day tough today. That's a huge matchup. No surprise with the great coaching of Murdoch. Back up to you guys.
Break. We'll be back with the 2014 Baggataway Cup Championship Finals on JVI Sports Network. Right, we are back ready for the 2014 Baggataway Cup Finals, and on the field right now, Commissioner David Fennicky introducing the starting lineups.
Long stick midfielder number 17, Nicholas Wertman. On defense, number 21, Christian LeBlanc. At midfield, number 44, Scott Johnston. Goaltender number 51, Michael Lalani. At midfield, number 91, Blaze McCullough. Now from McGill, at defense, number 00, Danny McDermott. Alex Rohrbach. At long stick midfield, number 8, Quentin Bradley. At midfield, number 11, Chris Mederi. At midfield, number 14, Connor Goodwin. At attack, number 20, Spencer Bromley. On defense, number 21, Paul Rakosi. In goal, number 25, Will Weishi. On defense, number 28, Bradley Hoffman. And in attack, number 88, Reese Burnell. Your officials for this afternoon's contest: Crew Chief Brent Coulombe. Referees are Ian Garrison and Sean Grenier. Your chief bench official is Neil McDonald. Good luck to all participants.
There you have the starting lineups for this championship game. Not a lot of change for either of these teams from last year when they met. We do see a different goaltender for McGill, William Weishi, in instead of last year Riley McGillis was the goaltender. And the big change for Guelph is the lack of Ben Van Galen, who was their LSM and probably the best defensive player in the league maybe last year. He was outstanding.
Oh, absolutely phenomenal. Baggataway Cup playoffs for him last season. Definitely, I remember watching him in that first game and just hearing his name all the time, shutting guys down. You saw there that an extra long. That's the first time they've announced the starting rosters. You can see those guys getting a little antsy there, just getting the stare down before this game got going.
Ready to go, and we are underway, and Chris Mederi runs over Scott Johnston, but Curtis Knight comes up with it. You heard Pat Gregoire saying that Tim Murdoch called Curtis Knight the best player in the league, and I'd have to agree with him. Knight, as we've seen through this weekend, does it all over the field. He's not only Guelph's leading scorer, he's also very good in defense. That ball is knocked loose. Looks like they're going to try and get it back. Big battle. Connor Goodwin tries to scoop it up, can't get it. For a second, it was in the stick of Jordan Critch, but nobody can come up with it. We're going to have a off-ball push by Mike Burke that is going to award the ball to McGill. He jumped in and cut off a player going for the loose ball, so it's going to be McGill possession.
Looks like these two teams starting off right where they left off last year. Got no love for each other out here in this field, as you got a long off season to wait if you're not going to walk away with that championship trophy.
The big challenge for Guelph, of course, they pulled it off last year, is winning 3 games in 3 days. It is a grueling process to play the Friday night, then go Saturday afternoon and come back Sunday afternoon. And McGill having the Friday night off, definitely a bit of an edge for them. And it'll be interesting to see later in the game how that plays out.
Yeah, a little extra rest for McGill definitely going to help. So Guelph's going to have to run off adrenaline in this game. They know what it's like to win. They did, like you said, they did it last year. And that's a big key, I find, with teams, if you know how to win and having guys that have done it before, because most of this Guelph roster has a championship ring.
Anders Biella with the drive down the alley. He's going all the way around the net. Biella had 4 goals yesterday. Spencer Bromley takes the pass, goes up to Goodwin, who was an absolute stud yesterday. He's watched by David Nedelko, an all-Canadian on defense for Guelph. That ball's picked up by Blaze McCullough after the ward off with the loose arm, and it is Guelph possession. McCullough taking his time, watched by Rohrback. He's just going to fling it all the way across the field, try and get the clear to Chris LeBlanc.
McGill definitely got to be feeling high after their win yesterday. We've seen most of the games this tournament really, really close down to the wire until that Western McGill game, where it was all McGill all the time, getting all the little battles done, big things, and they went on to win big yesterday against Western.
Nicholas Wortman going for a run. He was sensational yesterday. Ball pops out of his stick, but he had a great game on defense. Now he taps it away over to himself. He's battling with Danny McDermott for it. Ulbicus comes in to try and get it. Nobody able to pick it up. Liam Corbett gets hit hard there. And it's eventually, though, Guelph that does come up with it. Ryan Serville way up to the 45-yard line on the football numbering. And Calvin Holland takes the ball. We didn't see a lot of Calvin Holland yesterday. He tended to play later in the game. You got to wonder if they're trying to give Curtis Knight a bit of a rest, get him off early in the game, let him not get tired out too much.
Yeah, definitely. You're saying with the 3 days, 3 games in 3 days, and the amount of time that Knight plays on the field, both offensively and defensively, he's definitely going to be gassed by the time this weekend's over.
Yeah, and Tim Murdoch was talking quite a bit about Knight before the game up in the booth here, and he was saying, he's not just a great offensive guy, he's the best defender as well as a short stick. So, he does play a lot in his own end, and Holland's going to take some of the pressure off him. Holland won't bring the scoring that he does, obviously, but he can move the ball effectively. There's Ulbicus going for a drive, but it's knocked loose by Goodwin. Coming up with it for McGill, heading the other way. Another battle, though. The ball is back down on the ground. Burke going after it, trying to get it away from Williams. Liam Corbett that grabs the ball that Burke popped out of there. He's just going to run out of trouble. Here comes the first flag of the day. Ball over to Ryan Serville. Curtis Knight now coming out onto the field. They're going to kind of try and sneak him in, but they're immediately 2 Redmen point to him.
Well, you know that McGill bench, they probably have a man literally just watching the Guelph bench for when Curtis Knight walks out on the field, so everybody knows exactly where he is.
Guelph gets a shot over on the far side. It's Liam Corbett, but interesting, Quentin Bradley not on the field right now. We'll go to Pat Gregoire, who is on the field.
Hey guys, big storyline from yesterday's game with Guelph. They were very undisciplined, but when Brock was taking penalties, they were lights out. Look to see Mike Burke really take advantage here. He's got a cannon. Back to you guys.
I think what Pat meant to say was Guelph was very disciplined. They didn't take a single penalty yesterday.
Yeah, and the way we were looking, we discussed it too. It wasn't like we thought, oh, maybe there was a call here or there. There wasn't anything that noticeable from the Guelph Gryphons on the penalty side.
Burke with the ball, gets it over to Seville, though. Instead of the shot, he passed 3 power play goals yesterday. They are now up 1-0.
This McGill Redmen team cannot take penalties against the Guelph Gryphons. They showed yesterday against Brock Badgers exactly how potent their offense is. As we saw, it was mainly Brock when it was 6-on-6, but Guelph just destroyed them on the power plays. We're going to see this replay. Seville able to get that shot off before that slide came and just gets it right behind the short side of the McGill goaltender.
Johnston pulls the ball back and tracks it down himself. It pops out of his stick, though. The penalty is released. We're back to even strength. There's Holland taking the long pass up from the defender. He's watched by Mederi. Now Mederi heads off. Mederi tends to be a bit of a fogo. Really focused on that, on the face-off. Curtis Knight out on the field. Seville passes it back to Burke. He's going to find Knight at the top. Over to Albicus. Corbett goes down to Critch, and everybody's touched the ball. They're going to do a complete circle. Burke has McDermott on him and goes immediately back to Albicus. Albicus has switched over to the left side. Guelph does a lot of that, inverting, getting the lefty Albicus on the left side. And Curtis Knight will slip over with his right-hand shot over to the right side.
And you saw that yesterday, both Albicus's goals. I was in the opposite side of the field, opposite end of the field, but the same type of thing, going down his left side and just getting the rip on the alley.
There's a quick shot and a quick goal by Jordan Critch. Ryan Serville, the finisher, this time becomes the passer as he gets it to Critch in stride and a quick release right down by the feet of William Waitche, and it's 2-0.
Absolute gorgeous pass from Serville there. You see the McGill defense, saying he is the goal scorer, so there may be bite on him a little bit more, thinking he's going to go to the net, but he recognized the open man in front, and that's going to put the Guelph Gryphons up 2-0 early. Very quick shot to get it out of the stick. He had Danny McDermott right on his back.
Yeah, and that's where you've got to watch Ryan Serville when he gets the ball down there, because that's where he scores so many of his goals from, is getting the pass down low and just bullying his way out to the front of the net. We're going to have a push by Danny Williams. Dan Williams on the back of the Guelph player, Calvin Holland, and he's going to get possession for the Gryphons, and they will head down. And we've seen this weekend, teams getting long stretches of possessions where, like McGill has had, or Guelph has had most of the control of the play so far, and it certainly behooves them to take advantage of it and get a lead. You said their third game in 3 days. They want to have a lead going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you're saying keep it on the outs, keeping it around the outside, passing it, long possessions. Just give your team a chance to take a little extra rest. Defense is probably going to get tired at points, but these long rests coming from a defensive player, very thankful.
Serville gets the ball. He's going to go behind the net to Liam Corbett, taking a turn at X. Connor Goodwin back there. Goodwin, very much like Curtis Knight, and he's one of their top scorers, but also a good defensive player. He's looking for somebody to cover, and he finds Critch. But there's a shot by Serville, doesn't get towards the net. Goodwin picks it up, he's going to run up the field. You can see the way the uniforms are flapping. There is some wind again today, like we had yesterday. Here's Williams running up the field, and Curtis Knight all over him. Gets the shot off nonetheless, but Lalani makes the save. Michael Lalani had some shaky stretches yesterday, but was huge in the last 2 minutes of yesterday's game with that 1-goal lead that Guelph had over Brock. He managed to make three big saves for them.
Oh, absolutely huge game. You saw a few of those, like saying, shaky at the beginning, a couple goals going off of his body and things like that. He definitely, he was angry at himself. You could see slamming his stick, but when it mattered most, he came up big for his team.
Chris LeBlanc being hounded by Reese Burnell. Really methodical, clear. There's a lot of pressure. There's Rohrbach with pressure once again. Lalani has a couple of men converging on him, so he'll give it to LeBlanc, and that gives him lots of space to run it up. But a pretty aggressive ride by the McGill Redmen. Now Curtis Knight gets the ball from Nicholas Wortman.
Knight was, you saw there immediately when he touched the ball, Quentin Bradley sliding right up. Not going to give him any space.
You can see how high Bradley's staying to keep an eye on Knight as Michael Burke takes the ball down behind and gives it to Jordan Critch.
Bradley also not just known for his defensive abilities with that long stick, getting a goal yesterday for McGill, getting up on the play.
Serville. He's going to make another pass to Critch. This one doesn't get through. It's picked up by Hoffman. Hoffman avoids a check. Focus with some pressure on him, and there's the pass. Mercosi running up the field. He's going to let it rip. Bounces it, goes well back into the out of bounds, but a couple of McGill Redmen back there. Let's go down to Pat Gregoire on the field level.
Hey guys, couple of clears in a row for both teams. As you can notice, McGill really likes to push the tempo, try to score scoring opportunities off the transition, while as Guelph, they like to settle it down and get their offense going. Look to see that throughout the entire game. Back to you guys.
Yeah, you'll see the McGill long pole is definitely more likely to take off and try and get a shot. It's hard to think of a Guelph defender who's really gone up and put much pressure in the offensive way today. And nice hustle there by Chris LeBlanc to get back to the back line first and get possession for Guelph, outrunning both Spencer Bromley and Alex Rohrbach.
Yeah, just outworking his man there to get there first. Normally, offensive players tend to regain possession there, but great work again by LeBlanc to get this ball back into the Gryphons' hands, and they're going to get. It looks like they're going to try to set back up for a nice long possession.
Yeah, they're definitely slowing things down a little bit. They come up to Mike Burke with the ball. Ulbicus will take it. No rush for these Guelph Gryphons. This is another strategy. I mean, Guelph will tend to push the pace of it. They want to go, they want to attack, but it's got to be part of the strategy today, having played the 2 games already this weekend, to try and save your legs a little bit. Now Burke starts to dodge, goes back up tonight, and they slow it back down, go to Ulbicus.
No, absolutely. The gameplay does change. I've been involved with that 3-game in 3 days scenario before, and that third game, their playing style completely changed. We had a different game plan just to slow it down when we played the Brock Badgers in the championship 3 years ago.
Critch tried to get the pass to Serville. It skipped by him, but Ulbicus was able to pick it up. Now they go to Corbett. Moving the ball around the outside. Seeing Nick Salbury, number 66, right there guarding Liam Corbett, playing a fair bit today. Got some midfield play yesterday. A lot of time in the defensive zone today.
It's just, as we keep saying, a third game in 3 days, we'll probably see a lot more Guelph players get in this bench, a lot more looks.
Guelph continuing to move it around. Mike Burke gets it to Ulbicus. Serville one-on-one with Rakosi. There's going to be a penalty to Rakosi. It actually looked to me like Serville kind of reached back and grabbed Rakosi's stick, but I think they're going to call a hold on Rakosi.
With Serville, they're just using that big body getting in. We're going to see on the replay here. So you can kind of see Serville drive, almost a box style. And almost that, yeah, he actually did. His arm gets hooked in under his stick and pulls Rakosi down. Good job by Serville to draw that penalty. Probably his fault, actually, in the end.
What a quick play and a quick goal by Curtis Knight. Nice little pass. I think it was Ulbicus setting him up. A couple of fakes, and William Waitche is not happy with himself, but he's had very little chance on any of the 3 goals he's given up, and Guelph immediately calls a timeout so they can. Oh, actually, McGill calls a timeout. I thought Guelph was trying to maintain time on the power play, but it's McGill who's taking the timeout, and will try to change things up.
You have to see the replay here as you're going to see Ulbicus just feed it off Knight. Knight make a nice move to get Waitche to come out of his crease and then get right around him. No defender really in sight as Knight was just able to cut right through the middle, and that's a second power play goal already of the game for this Guelph Griffin offense.
I'll tell you, if McGill watched the tape of the previous games, they probably saw Curtis Knight yesterday taking a couple of shots, crossing over, just switching his hands over and sort of shooting a backhander. And he faked that today, and then pulled it down low and went to the goal line. Had a very tight angle, but nothing to stop him from tucking the ball in the net.
Goalies, have a hard time seeing on those shots when they're switching hands, but they're not really switching hands when it comes from a different angle. We're going to send it down to the field to Pat Gregoire.
Hey guys. Thanks. Just listening in on the timeout of Tim Murdoch and Redmen there. He said not to worry, guys. I just called the timeout, kind of stopped the bleeding. Don't worry. Very early in this game, let's stop taking penalties. Let's get back to basics, and we're fine. Back up to you guys.
Obviously, that a key is we've seen a couple of Guelph power play goals already that made a big difference yesterday in that 1-goal game.
I almost say on that last goal there, even though Serville maybe not on the pass, really getting the assist on that one by drawing that penalty. By hooking the stick of Rakosi and pulling himself down on top of him.
Yeah, I'm sure Rakosi wasn't too happy about that penalty because he did get the stick hooked around him, but it definitely looked like Serville was not letting go of it.
No, when it comes to situations like that, the referee has a hard time seeing. Normally, they're going to give the penalty to the defensive player in most cases, but. Looks like Guelph is going to get this ball back again for
Mederi pulls the ball back between his legs, but Scott Johnson just jumps around him to go and get possession for Guelph. Great play by Johnston. Nice quickness. Now Mike Burke has the ball. Watched by Danny McDermott. McDermott knocks him down. There goes the flag. And just like that, Guelph is right back on the power play. And Danny McDermott is not, he's not going to take a lot of penalties in that one. He's just got, I guess, a little overzealous.
Yeah, you can see he gets his stick a little low. We're going to see on the replay here. McDermott trying to get in there, try to get that trail check, but gets a little low and hits Burke right down in the leg area.
Yeah. I think we've had very good officiating this weekend. I've been very impressed, but that's one that also I'm not sure I would have called.
Yeah, it's a tough one to call there, especially in a championship game like this.
Critch gets the ball, bounces it past the net. Curtis Knight will be there to get possession back. Nice little pass again by Ryan Seville going across crease this time. He's going to get it back from Curtis Knight. So no, Knight's going to hold on to it, and they'll just switch positions. Goes up to Burke. Olbicus down to Corbett. Critch cutting to the crease was open. Burke gets it to him and scores. Jordan Critch was left alone. He's the man that couldn't cover. That's the thing with Guelph. So many good players. You can't cover everyone when you're shorthanded.
Every single player on their power play unit can bury the ball. Critch that's his second opportunity on that power play, sort of just bouncing that one by, and that's going to make a third power play goal for these Guelph Gryphons. You're going to see Critch just naked on the crease there, and just getting that underhand shot under Wage. Couldn't slide fast enough to win the pass game.
McGill getting spread out as the ball comes to Critch up high. They've got to send somebody after him the way he can shoot from the outside. And you could see Critch. I mentioned it before the play even happened that he was coming open. You could just see it happening. Here's a real scrum for this ball. Johnston drops down to try and cover as much of it as possible. Holland trying to get it, but it looks like Goodwin's come up with it. Now it pops back out. And we're going to have a push in the back, and it's going to be McGill possession.
You see, it's not the biggest lead we've seen all weekend. We saw the Queens Gales come back from 5 and 4 goals, so it's definitely possible here for these McGill Redmen trying to keep their undefeated season alive.
They need to really work here and get some create some opportunities. Obviously, a lot of offensive talent for them. Anders Biela gets it up top to Goodwin. Go to the far side to Emile Sasson Lawless. He shoots and scores just like that. Not really a lot of, just some perimeter ball movement. It was just a one-on-one battle. Sasson Lawless just did a little spin to create space and flipped it by Lilani.
Very similar goals to what we saw him get yesterday. We see McGill, a lot of guys like to switch hands. Sasson Lawless likes to stick with that one hand, gets the nice spin to get some separation, and that's a great shot as he had his defender right on him by the time that shot was off. See, he switches the him. Got to slow it down, get it off. See that stick coming in just a level too late, and first goal on the board for the Redmen.
Yeah, again, pretty decent defense with Calvin Holland right on him, but just lost a bit of contact on the spin. Just had about half a step of open space, and that was enough for Sasson Lawless to get it off, and that's got to help the Redmen's bench feel a bit of what Tim Murdoch was saying, that it's fine, even though it's still early and they've got time to come back.
Across a game of momentum swings, so McGill looking to try to build on this and maybe cut even more into this 4-1 Guelph lead.
Sasson Lawless has the ball again. They're going back to Rohrbach, back to Sasson Lawless. Biela trying to break down, gets a shot off the crossbar, just inches away from getting a second goal. Great positioning by Serville to get that ball away from Rakosi, but his foot stepped out of bounds. He's upset with the official, but there's no question his foot definitely stepped outside the line.
Oh, definitely. He was just an inch on it, but you touch that line, you're out of bounds. But you say they're great positioning when he did pick up that ball, but good recovery from McGill to force him out of bounds.
Spencer Bromley gets it, throws back out to Goodwin. Sasson Lawless. Sasson Lawless again driving to the net. He's going to pass it across. That one skips away. Will it roll out? Not going to get there, but it does bounce out off a player. Bounced off of the Guelph defender. Nice job by Biela to just flick it over. Let's go quickly to Pat Gregoire at field level.
Thanks, Steven. Yeah, as I was mentioned earlier before I talked to Tim Murdoch before the game, one thing he really said that his offense was going to stress is dodging from up top and exploiting those defensive midfielders with the short sticks. He also noticed that a lot of the Guelph long poles got ball watching yesterday in that game against Brock, and also in their other game in the quarterfinals. Back to you guys.
Whipping up the field now is Ben Heidecker for Guelph. Haven't seen a lot of Heidecker over the weekend, but he shows he's got some wheels there. He does step in and take the some shifts now and then. He'll get it over to Curtis Knight. Critch in behind. He's going to get to Serville. Ulbicus. Move it all the way around to Burke on the far side. Comes back to Corbett. Coming up to the final minute of this first quarter, still 4-1 for Guelph. Knight driving down the alley. Watched by Williams. Still has the ball. Gives it up to Serville behind the net. Looking for a cutter. Cozy on him. Ulbicus drops it but picks it up again. For those of you who haven't been with us for the weekend, what we're doing when the clock stops with 30 seconds to go on the field and the time is kept on the field, we will keep the clock running. That ball skips away from Serville. So that'll give you an idea of how long is left, just an approximation. It is pretty close. There's the pass out. A cutter. Curtis Knight scores in the final 22 seconds of play. Great little set play by Guelph, moving the ball around. Excellent movement, and Knight finishes his second goal of the game. It's 5-1.
Oh, absolute gorgeous goal by Knight, as you see, just driving through the middle, and McGill players all over the place, sticks everywhere, and that pass, again, another beauty just to find its way there. You're going to see it coming around the net, and Knight just looking. You see, there was Critch off looking, actually, on the other side, if you can get it. So McGill maybe biting out to the outside, allowing Knight to drive straight through the middle and build now a 5-1 lead.
Okay, we're going to go to a quick promo for our halftime interview. We'll be right back with the second quarter after this.
I think that with the advent of, or not the advent, but with the rising popularity of hipsters, I think that hipsters should get on board right now while this is still sort of an underground movement. Once lacrosse, field lacrosse becomes really popular, it's going to be too late. They're not going to be able to watch a broadcast like this on their MacBooks at the local coffee shop. So they should get on board as soon as possible.
That is Kufla Commissioner David Fennicky with one of the lighter moments from an interview we did last night at the hotel preparing for today. The full interview will run at halftime today. So we certainly hope you can stay for that. Actually, it'll be an edited version of the interview. We will get the full interview up on the Kufla website after this weekend. So you can go to kufla.ca, that's CUFLA.ca, and check out all the latest happenings in Kufla and see that interview, among other things. So 5-1. I'm not sure anyone anticipated Guelph getting off to this kind of a lead, Malcolm, but it's certainly a very strong start for Guelph. Quickly, let us know who you think should be the players of the game. MCGPOG and GUEPOG for each team. Use the Twitter handle at JVI Video. Those are the hashtags. And we'd love to get your input.
It'll be tough to pick in this championship game. Lots of people, especially on the Guelph side so far.
Curtis Knight so far.
He's always involved with that. But you're saying jumping to a 5-1 lead, 3 power play goals for the Guelph Gryphons, taking exactly where they left off yesterday against the Brock Badgers.
Scrambled draw again. Maderi showing a lot of strength as he just pushes Scott Johnston out of the way, and Guelph will get possession. I don't think it was for his push. I think that was just part of the battle. But there was a push from a player coming in from the wing. Calvin Holland has it. He's going to flip it over to Burke. Double team as Connor Goodwin, or Reese Burnell tried to get him reaching over the line. Guelph moves it well back out to Curtis Knight. Comes across to Burke. Guelph slowing things down again.
You guys don't have to sit down to me, but just notice that the McGill defense has kind of changed up the matchup.
Guelph moving around.
Notice out there on the
Cross.
field, McDermott now lining up against Serville, trying to shut down maybe some big on the defensive side for McGill.
Yeah, Pat Gregoire just pointing out to us that the defensive matchups have changed a little bit. Wasn't working, obviously, the way they wanted, giving up 5 goals in the first quarter. We'll see if they can switch things up. This McGill D has been so consistent and so strong throughout the last couple seasons and the tournament, of course. Burke tries to get to the ball, but it's scooped up by Hoffman. Corbett will pressure him, so he'll just pass it off. Hayden Nix played a pretty big role last year for this team. Not as big of a role this season. We're going to go to Pat Gregoire again at field level.
Actually, quickly, they just called an offside there. But I was listening in on the coach of the Guelph Gryphons, and he was saying to the defense, he said, you know what, 1 goal, that's great, but it's not perfect. He's still saying things that they need to work on. He said not to rush so much on the clear. He's also noticing that McGill's really looking for that skip pass. He said they got lucky a couple times with a couple drops and thrown balls out of bounds. He says we got to start picking off passes and knocking them down. Back to you guys.
Smart coaching by Sam Kozakowski, as you can't sit on your laurels or on a 4-goal lead against the McGill Redmen. They're just too powerful. And good points, but a couple of drop passes and passes out of bounds that took away possessions from the Redmen.
It was all those little things. They were working for them yesterday, and if they start to click again, it could be a tough day for the Guelph Gryphons. As you were saying, McGill, lots of power, can come from anywheres, and they could easily get back into this game.
Guelph's going to take their time. Again, it's always that balance you have to find between slowing things down, keeping the clock running, and keeping possession, but not backing off so much that you lose the aggressiveness. And here comes Curtis Knight dodging down the alley with a hard drive. He's going to pass to Serville behind the net, and they put some pressure on. Again, McDermott on Serville. Serville gets a shot in the goal, and there's nothing McDermott could do there. And elated Ryan Serville has made it 6-1 for Guelph.
And you see Serville driving in hard, using that big body presence against McDermott, and just getting enough separation away to get a hard shot off low. And a goaltender from William Weish unable to get a stick on that. You're going to see drive, and then just pop out just enough. And McDermott, like saying, nothing he could have done there. He had his stick right in Servelle's hands, and just Serville just too strong and powerful.
Serville so often will drive towards the net from back there at an angle and just try and get the defender on his back. In that case, with McDermott having great position, he just was drifting away from the net and still managed to get the shot off. That's a very impressive play by Ryan Serville.
Especially against, against Danny McDermott, an all-Canadian defenseman, probably the best D in the Eastern Conference this year. It's going to be a tough game for them if Serville is able to do things like that against their top defender.
Sassone Lawless got a shot off against Michael Lalani, but somebody got a stick on his stick, limited the power on it, so it was a pretty easy save for Lalani. Now Guelph with a pretty careful clear, making the passes they need to make, and it's got to be frustrating for McGill that they're not able to keep Guelph penned in that end.
Oh, must not be. Seeing McGill, definitely a hard pressure team. They don't just let one player sort of hang on to it and wait, and Guelph is finding that open man and getting that ball up the field.
Guelph goes to Chris behind the net, back to Serville. Liam Corbett's going to give it up to Mike Burke. Both these teams very deep, especially on the defensive end for McGill generally, and on the offensive side for Guelph, as we've talked about. Here is Ulbicus, who scored the tying and winning goals yesterday. Nice dodge. What a goal by Brett Ulbicus. The swim move, split dodge, top corner cheese. What a beauty.
That was gorgeous. There's going to be a few McGill defenders looking for their jock straps right now after that one, as we're going to get to see on this replay just how special Brett Ulbicus can be out there on the field. See, swimming right through his man, splitting the defense, and just ripping that top shelf. Absolutely gorgeous. And you get to see on the first replay there a little bit of a toe drag to get around the first defender before the swim move.
Great play by Ulbicus. And frankly, we've seen a lot of things happen over the weekend, but this is the most shocking moment of the weekend I've seen, is Guelph leading 7-1. Bradley Hoffman comes up with the face-off. They switch him out to take a face-off for Mederi. Hoffman wins it, and he'll go back and join the defense, and they get it up to Saubrey.
You're saying, yeah, it's very surprising. 7 goals already. Look at William Weich's goals against average for the season, 4.84.
Remarkable. Shows you just how talented this Guelph team is. And again, this is a team that was the 3rd seed coming into this weekend. They lost 4 games on the season. They, they were certainly not an unbeatable team during the regular season, but they know how to play when it gets to the Baggataway Cup, obviously.
Maybe, a couple people talking this weekend, that record maybe a little not there as their first game of the year was a forfeited game. And then 2 losses to Western Mustangs and then 1 to the Brock Badgers. So some very tough competition that they had to play against.
Of course, you're looking at one of those losses to, or 2 of those losses to Western, as you mentioned, a Western team that McGill beat 15-6 yesterday. Now, that result may have been different had Western not had to play Friday night and McGill had that day off, but...
yeah, with that game, Western lost their big guy in overtime when he scored that winning goal, Childerhose.
There's a drive towards the net and a shot. Just going a little bit wide by Anders Biela. Rohrbach gets it. He's going to come back up to Connor Goodwin.
Seeing some great defense out of this Guelph Griffin team. Coming into this game, we were thinking, McGill would have the better defense, but right now, this Guelph Griffin defense showing up the other side.
They're playing very close defense, really sticking with their guys, and not letting McGill have much open space. It's Sassone Lawless with the shot. That one's stopped by Lalani. Great physical battle, and the ball pops out, and it's Spencer Bromley that comes up with it. He's watched by Nedelko. And Curtis Knight not out on the field. They're giving him a bit of a rest here. Having Ben Heidecker take a shift. Let's go down to Pat Gregoire at field level.
Hey guys, just listening to the bench right now. Very vocal from the coaches, especially with Sam Kaskowski. He's yelling at his defenders. Let's slide with body, poke, lift. He's really giving out a lot of directions. You can tell immediately as soon as he's yelling, his defenders are changing. So he is, although Lalani's very vocal from the backhand, Kaskowski is very vocal, and he is really running his defense from the sidelines. Back to you guys.
Heidecker has taken a penalty, so McGill will go on the power play.
First penalty kill for the Guelph Griffins in the last 2 games.
Blaze McCullough immediately ran out to join the penalty killing unit, and he's staying on Spencer Bromley. A short stick on Bromley right in front of the crease. Wortman and Nedelko, 2 of the big names, as well as Chris LeBlanc for this Guelph defense.
Wortman having an absolutely huge weekend on this Guelph defense.
Matthew Lyons has been very good as well, number 4 right there, and he just tipped that ball away from Emile Sassone-Lawless, allowing it to go all the way out past midfield. It's going to be tracked down by Bradley Hoffman. That will eat up a lot of time, and Guelph will get their full complement of players back on the field.
Great penalty kill there by the Guelph Griffins, and one scoring chance. That was it. The goaltender Lalani able to get on that, and we're all even back up now.
Nedelko meets Goodwin. Pass across to Burnell. He bounces it. Bit of a changeup that handcuffed Lalani a bit, but he managed to knock it away. Lalani, one of those goalies who does double duty. He's played Junior A box lacrosse for the Toronto Beaches for the past several years. And he's out here in the big net as well. There's a shot well high by Anders Biela. He rams his hands down the turf. He's not happy with himself on that shot.
Sometimes that transition is quite hard, going from box goalie to field goalie. It's 2 completely different styles. As you can see, box goaltenders in the more crouch distance, stick down, trying to let the ball hit you in the chest and things like that, putting field across. Unless you're the Brock goaltender, you're going to want to use your stick for most saves.
Yeah. Ryan Jones, the Brock goalie, who's known for getting his body in the way of a lot of shots, and probably one of the most bruised guys over the weekend, I would think. There's Liam Corbett with the ball. Quentin Bradley hustling out on him really high, getting some pressure on, but he gets the ball off to Serville, and Curtis Knight takes possession. They'll slow things back down.
Looks like Guelph using Knight more just on the offensive side of the ball so far today. Not as much defensively, maybe just trying to get him a few more rests and get a couple other guys in. They can afford to do that with their 6-goal lead right now.
Critch, watched by Nix. Definitely seeing more of Hayden Nix today than we did yesterday. We'll see if that's something that Tim Murdoch has decided to try out. He's a very capable defender, and he's watching Jordan Critch now with stall warning on Guelph. Critch continuing to carry the ball in behind. Ball comes out. Burke's going to let it rip and score. Mike Burke celebrates as he fires one low past Waitche. 8-1 for Guelph.
Well, that goal Waitche definitely wanted to have back, as that was a low-to-low on the ground the entire way, but just able to confuse him enough. And 8-1 lead. We're going to get to see the replay, and while that's going on, we're going to send it down to our on-field reporter, Pat Gregoire.
Hey, guys, thanks. I think Mike Burke's going to be starting to get in his mail sent to there, because all weekend he's been hot from there. He's been ripping shots past all goaltenders all weekend, and the Guelph Gryphons have been doing a great job distributing the ball to get him to that spot. And like I said earlier in the game, he's got a cannon, and he just proved that he does. Back to you guys.
Curtis Knight tracks down the ball off the face-off scramble, comes up with it, and Guelph up 8-1. What a strong start they've had. And Mike Burke, a guy who scored 129 points to lead the Ontario Junior A League 3 seasons ago. He's played a couple of seasons of senior ball with the Brampton Excelsiors, scoring 87 points over the last couple of years. And also an impressive season in CLAX, the semi-pro league in Canada, where he scored about 7 points a game last season. So he's definitely a very talented player, and you give him the 6x6 net to shoot at. And, Waitche may have wanted to have that one back, but it is tough to stop Mike Burke when he's shooting.
Now, you look throughout this whole league, up and down some rosters, some big-name guys who play big-name lacrosse in other towns, box and field and things like that, bringing their talents here to the CUFLA, showing that, as we were talking earlier with Pat Gregoire, that it's not just the NCAA that provides some great university field lacrosse. You can find that right here at home in Canada.
What a pass by Mike Burke down to Jordan Critch. Critch buries his second of the day. And that was, again, they have to respect the shooting of Burke. But that one, he made a perfect pass to Critch, cutting up from below the goal line extended.
Just showing how many different threats that this Guelph Griffin team can throw at you. As Critch getting another goal, as you can see the Guelph team able to find that pass down. Burke looking like he's going to take that shot, gets McGill maybe to move just enough, and Critch able to slide around. Not bad on the defensive spot there, but again, the shot getting off from the Guelph Gryphons, they're always able to find that little hole to get to the net.
Procedure call on the face-off against Guelph. McGill gets the ball, and then a flag goes up. It's unsportsmanlike conduct for Scott Johnston. I didn't quite see what he did. Pat, did you pick that one up?
Yeah, it sounded like he might have been yipping at one of the officials, and they don't take too quietly like that. It's not box lacrosse. This is a gentleman's game, so he's going to get dinged up for that for sure. Back to you guys.
Ow, Patty with the shot at box lacrosse. But thanks for the input on that.
The confines of box lacrosse arena creates a little bit more animosity sometimes between some teams.
Here's a shot by Burnell, and he buries it past Lalani. Saskatchewan Lawless finds Burnell, and they waste no time taking advantage of that power play, and they call a timeout immediately. McGill does, so they can keep going, try and win another faceoff and get another chance to come a bit closer.
That's exactly what the McGill Redmen wanted to do when they got this power play here. Score early, get that timeout, and then they're going to have a lot of time still left on it. Maybe that only took a few seconds off the clock. High shot that went right past the stick of the line. It looked like he had eyes on it, but just too quick for him to get a hold of.
And just look how far Nicholas Wortman had to come on that slide. McGill saw that Burnell was wide open. Wortman came from the far side of the crease, almost got there, but that was just too much for him to expect from him on that one. They had a bit of a breakdown defensively.
Too much ground to cover there. Great job. As on the power play, you got to try to find the open man on the field, and McGill did a great job there. Now it's only 7-goal lead, but that may be the spark they need to get things going again.
Remember, stay with us at halftime. We will have an interview with CUFLA Commissioner Dave Fennicky. Very interesting sit-down. We had him to talk about the past and the present and the future of this game. He's naturally very high on Canadian University field lacrosse, and the opportunity he gives players both athletically and academically. With Johnston off serving his penalty, it will be Ben Heidegger coming out, taking the draw against Chris Mederi. And Heidegger looks like he's fared pretty well, but then we're going to have a procedure call, and it will actually be It is against Heidecker, so it's going to be McGill possession. Best case scenario for them, they've still got the power play, and they're going to be able to set it up and try and get a second goal on this one. Burnell, the scorer, has the ball back. Matthew Lyons directing traffic for his fellow defender. Sassone Lawless over to Goodwin. Catches on his offside. Goes to Burnell. He's going to come out and have a go. Again, he shoots high. It's going to be McGill possession. The penalty has released, so we're back to even strength. Still 9-2 for the Guelph Gryphons.
That shot there from Burnell, a little bit harder of an angle than what he had on his goal shot. Trying to sneak it in there, going high, but sailing it over the net.
Reversing field is Sassone Lawless. Curtis Knight out there playing some defense on him. Anders Biela can't lose his man, gets it up to Goodwin. He tries to drive. Nedelko stays right with him. Goodwin gets away, switches hands, gets the shot off. It goes wide, and it's Rohrbach tracking it down.
Nice job there by Nedelko. Just at the end, he got beat by Goodwin there, but just enough to get his stick in, maybe push that shot off target.
Here comes Goodwin again. He's going to drive and shoot wide once again, and again it's Rohrbach in behind. They're going to say they stepped in the crease, so it will be Guelph possession, and that's a huge one to get that possession switched over.
Oh, absolutely huge as Rohrbach was behind the net. That would have been McGill's ball, but Goodwin just with a little too much momentum and kept continuing right into the crease, and it's going to be a lucky break for the Guelph Gryphons.
Heidecker bounces the pass over to Knight. It gets right past him, and Wortman comes up with it. Pressure from Burnell. He'll go back behind the net to LeBlanc. LeBlanc rolls it to his goalkeeper, Lalani. He's going to drift one up. Bounces away and off the back of Matthew Lyons.
Lyons there seemed like he was looking upfield before catching that ball, trying to get a run, and sort of lost track of it as it dropped the pass.
Yeah, he saw Reese Burnell closing in on him and was trying to, like you said, get going before it was in the stick. It costs them. McGill gets the ball back. Rufus Frost gives it up to Tyler McKendrick. I'm not sure that we've seen Tyler McKendrick on the field this weekend.
I'm not sure. I haven't, in past calling games, not used as much for the McGill offense.
He loses the ball. We're going to have a possession hold, and it will be McGill possession.
The ref's going to say Knight got his stick up there a little too much in McKendrick, and McGill reset on the offense. Now this is probably one of their longer 6-on-6 offensive possessions this game.
Frost trying to drive by Nedelko. Reversing field. Couple of switches, a couple of spins there for Alex Linton. Again, we're seeing a lot of these McGill players who got some time yesterday when they were well ahead of Western and may serve them well. Tim Murdoch trying to switch things up a bit, see if he can get some other players to create some more offense.
Yeah, sometimes just a new look and some fresh legs can make a huge difference for a team.
Burnell with the shot. That one goes wide. Rohrbach again. They're going to run out of balls on the back line.
A lot of these shots from McGill coming from the outside, Guelph not really letting them get into the middle, saying if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to beat us well on the outside.
McGill setting up the three-player stack right on top of the crease, but Guelph is doing a nice job of sorting through the movement that McGill creates when they all split up. That pass gets away and rolls out of bounds, so it's going to be Guelph possession. We're into the final 2 minutes of the first half of this Baggataway Cup Championship, brought to you by JVI Sports Network. I'm Stephen Stamp with Malcolm Westhaver and Pat Gregoire. And that pass, Guelph returns the favor as Lalani throws it over the head of Matthew Lyons. Rohrbach to Burnell. Gives to Goodwin up top, and they'll try and create from the midfielders, as Pat was talking about, Tim Murdoch saying they need to do. Now they're going to go down to Bromley, the attack. He's running along the GLE and slips behind the net. LeBlanc shoves him out. Actually kind of helped Bromley to create some space for that shot in that situation, but it's stopped by Lalani. There's LeBlanc with lots of pressure from Bromley. There's a pass across. It's going to bounce, and Lyons will get it just before Sassone Lawless can get to him. And it looks like Guelph will clear as Wortman takes the ball over center. We're 1 minute from the half, at which time, remember, we will have our interview with Commissioner Dave Fennicky, so stay tuned for that. We'll jump out quickly so we can get the whole interview and then be back with the second half. we'll see if it's still 9-2. We're into the final 45 seconds with Guelph leading Curtis Knight, slowing things down, passing it over to Brett Albicus.
And the way Guelph's been playing this first quarter, slowing it down, looks like they're probably just going to take maybe one shot off or get one and then have a reset, but not going to want to let McGill get possession of this ball again.
I know they're cutting, they shoot and score. You were dead wrong there, Malcolm, on that one. They were pushing to get something happening, and they did. Again, it's Jordan Critch passing from behind the net to Curtis Knight. And, I was talking to Sam Kozakowski about how, about situations where you do have a lead and you want to hold on to the ball. And he said, but, these guys want to go.
When you got a guy like Curtis Knight there driving, I guess he's going to prove me wrong on that play. We're going to send it down to the field to Pat Gregoire.
Hey, thanks, Malcolm. One of the greatest attributes of Curtis Knight has to be the way that he plays away from the ball. There is a prime example. He keeps on sneaking behind these defenders, and it's causing a lot of goal-scoring opportunities for the Gryphons. Back up to you guys.
Yeah, Curtis Knight's so quick. That will do it for the first half. Stay with us for the interview with Commissioner David Fennicky of Kufla, and join us back for the second half of the 2014 Baggataway Cup Championships.
When I played, nobody changed hands. If you were right-handed, you were right-handed. Running down one side of the field, you didn't really switch hands to move the stick away from a defender, and that wasn't really a thing. It was a lot more box on the field than field lacrosse. The development of field lacrosse that I've seen since I played, and even a few years before that, it's been remarkable, really, because when you're in it at the time, you don't really understand that there's another and better way, because if you did, you'd obviously do it, right? So to see the guys, catching from the left, switching, throwing to the right, or vice versa, you're watching the evolution of the game right in front of your eyes. Field lacrosse has a place among the big sports. It incorporates all elements: speed, agility, power, accuracy, strength. It's quickness. It's got everything that you want out of a sport, and it just needs more exposure. It needs the opportunity to thrive. It needs just to give Canadians a chance to see it more than just an anomaly, more than just to say, oh yeah, I think I had a roommate once who said something about lacrosse. That's the game where you take the ball and you try to run it over a line and touch it down, and no, that's rugby. It needs that opportunity, and I think that once it gets that opportunity, it'll just take off. This weekend in Oshawa, we've seen some really, really close games, especially between teams that historically wouldn't have been that closely matched. I think that this league is the top quality field lacrosse in Canada. And to me, it's always seemed strange that a guy from West Durham would go to East Nowhere University on a partial scholarship and have to make up the rest of it somehow, when he could just as easily go to Western or Queen's or Ottawa or any one of 15 universities at the moment, pay the equivalent in tuition, and maybe be a starter in his first or second year. We've seen some guys come from, just off the top of my head, because we did the McGill game most recently, you've got one player from Park City, Utah, one player from Orlando, Florida. We've got a bunch from the Atlantic Northeast. And they're coming into our league and they're being starters, and they're making a huge impact for their teams right off the bat. By the same token, you've got Canadians who maybe had the choice to go to a Division II, Division III school, NCAA, or National Lacrosse League, but they get their education from a school that may not have the same recognition of a Duke or a Syracuse or a Johns Hopkins University in Canada, but they wanted that scholarship. That was the Holy Grail. I'm hoping that we can sort of convince Canadian lacrosse players that the Canadian education will outweigh any potential glory that could be achieved from having a scholarship to a Division II, Division III school. The fact that it incorporates many different elements of box, field incorporates different elements of box and vice versa, just speaks to the constant evolution of this sport and speaks to the fact that you can be an expert in what the game is now, but the players are constantly coming up with new ways to drive, new ways to shoot, new ways to defend. The team defense, team offense is constantly evolving, and it's such a rapidly changing sport that I don't think anybody who played the game 10, 15, 20 years ago could honestly say that their championship team could beat today's championship team. Because it's just, the level keeps increasing, keeps developing in leaps and bounds year over year. Well, I played for Western, as you know, and a number of years ago when I played, for example, the idea of going to overtime with Queens would have been unthinkable. By the same token, a MAC championship, which we saw only a few years ago, would have been unthinkable. So, teams are developing at a really quick pace, and they are coming into their own. It could be the difference of a player here, a player there, a coach who has a really good game plan, a couple breaks go your way, and before you know it, you're in the national championship final. The issue of education, I have a friend who was coaching in Ottawa, and a player came up to him and said, "Hey, I have a chance to get a scholarship to this school." And my friend said, "Well, what do you want to do as a career?" He said, "Well, I think I want to be an engineer." He said, "Okay, so does that school that is offering you this scholarship to go and play lacrosse have an engineering department?" "Well, no, it doesn't." "Well, why do you want to go there?" "Well, they're going to give me a scholarship." So my friend just sort of stared at him like this and said, "You have to do what's best for your career, like for your life after lacrosse." Because, let's be honest, there are very, very few people who are ever going to make a career out of lacrosse.
Talk about some of the professional players coming and playing in this league. Guys like Jesse Gamble, Curtis Knight, and Mike Burke, some guys with professional experience. And I think it's telling that they're clearly star players in the game, but they're not head and shoulders. I think that speaks to the quality overall of the way the game's developed.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I would say that in the last few games, the guys who have made the biggest contributions to their teams are not necessarily the guys who are NLL players. I don't have the All-Canadian lists with me, but you would think that if the professional players were so much better than everybody else, the list would be all NLL players, and it's not that way. There were some real close calls this year over the course of the year. McGill does have an undefeated record coming into the CUFLA championship weekend. I was under the impression that the league ran itself. Apparently not. Apparently it takes the work of lots of volunteers, lots of people who are really passionate about the sport. Nobody is doing this for a paycheck. Nobody is doing this to get rich. You really need dedication, love of the sport, and that goes for everybody who's given their time to this league and to grow not just CUFLA lacrosse, but the game of lacrosse in general. You can never really predict what's going to happen with Western and Guelph, and they have typically over the past 30 years, if you look at this trophy, been all over it, all over the three sides that are covered of it. But Toronto is coming up. McMaster has a space on the trophy already, and you can never play. So I think that parity and that recognition of other teams being serious contenders is only going to grow as we get more and more players who realize that Kufla is a solid choice for education and athletics.
All right, welcome back to the 2014 Baggataway Cup Championship. That was Commissioner Dave Fennicky, that shot by Alex Frazo, our director here today, and with some help from Matt Carrick, and I was doing the interviewing. So we're certainly pleased to bring you that. And these teams are ready to go. There's actually about 40 seconds left on the halftime clock, and they were out there on the field ready to face it off.
Anything to go for the championship game. You're saying Guelph Gryphons going to be running off adrenaline. Can they do that for 40 more minutes and keep this 8-goal lead they have and try to repeat as national champions?
We did talk earlier about how they would want to get an early lead to try and set things up for so they could go through the, go into the fourth quarter not having to worry about what would happen. Scott Johnston gets the ball off the faceoff, wins it away from Quentin Bradley. Let's go down to Pat Gregoire on the field.
Hey guys, thanks. Big unsung hero of the weekend so far has been Scotty Johnson. He's been a beast on the X. Didn't really hasn't dominated, winning the draws technically, but he's just an absolute horse, bodying guys out and really working hard for those loose balls. Even when he loses the draw, he finds a way to pick up the ball or box out other players to let his other guys pick up the ball for him. Thanks. Back to you guys.
Yeah, the number of times you'll see Curtis Knight or one of the other Gryphons slip in and pick it up, and a lot of that attributable to the work done by Scott Johnston in the face-off circle.
As you're saying, as Pat was saying down there, just losing the draw doesn't mean you've lost possession of the ball. You still got to fight for it. It's a three-man game there on the face-off circle.
Curtis Knight slides down the alley. We saw him do that and score a couple times yesterday, and he just misses the net this time, but Seville is back there to get possession. And Guelph not showing any signs of slowing things down overly. We're sure they're not going to rush to get shots, but when opportunities are there, they will clearly still take them.
Yeah, this is a high-powered offense. All these guys have a nose for the net, and we were saying earlier, they're not going to want to stop scoring goals. They're going to want to keep pushing and pushing, and they don't care if they can get this up to a 20-goal lead the way this Guelph team, they'll do that. But it's going to be very tough against McGill.
Liam Corbett joins in the scoring parade. He hasn't scored a whole lot this weekend. He's been a nice element of the offense, the kind of the no-name offensive player in this group, but that's his first goal on the weekend. Sorry, second goal on the weekend.
Yeah, he had a goal in the quarterfinal game against the Bishop's Gators.
Right.
There's only one so far on the weekend, but nice draw here. You can see him just using his speed, getting away from his defender, losing a few steps there. Was number 34.
That was Jack Walker.
Jack Walker, sorry
there. Jack Stewart.
Jack Stewart, sorry. Thanks for that, Stephen.
The All-Canadian.
As you see, I can't believe that there. We saw Stewart actually get his first point of the season, being a goal in yesterday's game against Western.
That was a beautiful play, too. David Nedelko comes up with the ball, the ground ball, gets it over to Calvin Holland. And seeing more of Holland today. Trying to give Curtis Knight some rest. Johnston started to run before that one was in his stick. Burnell almost got it away from him, but it pops loose. LeBlanc can't handle the ball. It's going to roll out of bounds. Spencer Bromley makes a wise decision to just let it roll out rather than trying to pick it up and risk going out of bounds himself. Gets it over to Goodwin. McGill will try and eat into this 9-goal Guelph lead. That is not a phrase you would expect to hear.
Oh, not at all. Talking to a few people at halftime there, just showing up, just asking me what happened out here, expecting this to be a barn burner from start to finish.
Alex Rohrbach drops the ball as he tries to take the pass right in the slot. Had a glorious opportunity, just bounced out of his stick. It's been that kind of a day for McGill so far. Emil Sasson-Lawless, his shot is stopped. Picked up by Goodwin. McGill controlling the ball for now. Goes back to Sasson-Lawless, but Nedelko gets his stick on it. It rolls through the crease, and it's picked up by Matthew Lyons.
Great job there by Nedelko, as Sasson-Lawless was naked on that crease there. And the way he can bury, that would have been an automatic goal for him if he caught that there.
Lyons taking his time. We'll flip it over to Wortman. Slow pass, and it's going to be some pressure from Rohrbach. What a great little play by Wortman. He just raked the ball past Rohrbach, whose momentum carried him clear of Wortman. Wortman able to pick it up.
Wortman having a huge weekend. We keep saying his name in every game, considered even at times for first star of the game, and that's a huge honor if you're coming as a defensive player.
Yeah, we had him in as a candidate for player of the game, no question. And just some of the offensive fireworks were a bit too much. Mike Burke scoring 5 goals, but Wortman really doing a job shutting down Greg Davidson yesterday.
Yeah, 4-goal-a-game man for the Brock Badgers, and did he even have one?
No, he did not.
Not a single goal.
He had an assist. That pass gets away from Jordan Critch, again sliding into the slot. He's going to try and put some pressure on Danny McDermott. He's going to have to stop. He actually looked like Critch pulled up at the 50, thinking it was the midfield mark. Might have been able to take a couple more steps and get a bit of a shot at the stick of McDermott, but McGill controls the ball into the offensive zone, and Connor Goodwin will pass it behind the net.
Yeah, with that play there, Critch probably saying to himself afterwards, a little safer than sorry, don't want to cross the line, draw an offside, and put McGill to the power play.
Biella over to Goodwin. Biella runs a little interference. Goodwin pushes off on Nedelko, but Nedelko knocks it free. Great job again by Nedelko. Now he's going to come up with the ball. Oh no, sorry, that's
Hennessy there.
Mike Hennessy coming up with it. He's going to flip it back to Lalani. He jumps out of his crease to accept the pass. He's going to direct traffic, and again, they can be pretty patient with this clear.
Lalani doesn't like to go for too far out of his crease. On the other side of the field, though, Wash, you can see him sometimes will go end to end. And if you watched our pregame sort of highlights there, a huge goal for him as a flag down now on the field.
Knight's pass was actually tipped, but it did get through to Mike Burke. We'll see who it is taking the penalty. Jake Gutman has taken the penalty. It was offside.
And we're going to see another Guelph power play. Very deadly unit out here, bearing quite a few goals in these last 2 games in the semifinals and finals here so far today. So we'll see if they can get another one.
Dan Williams hustling out to take away the shooting opportunity for Mike Burke. And Burke, resulting pass, actually rolls out of bounds. Too far for Curtis Knight, so it's going to be Danny McDermott starting off with it. The penalty is released. And actually have Leland DeLangley coming onto the field for McGill. He jumps back to allow Hayden Nix to run up into the offensive zone. Now they'll switch out and DeLangley will come into the offense.
Another flag down on the field going against the Guelph Gryphons, so McGill will go to the power play soon.
They would love nothing better than to get a goal and then go on to the power play. There's a shot and it works out. Nice turn, nice switch of hands, and the low shot bouncing past Lalani by Rufus Frost.
Absolute gorgeous goal there by Frost. That's exactly what you said they wanted to do. Get the goal before the referee blew it down to call the power play. Really going to hope that McGill's going to be hoping that's not a releasable penalty on here. You're going to see a nice spin back, create some space, and just rip that far side. Lalani, no chance on that ball there. And now it's going to be an 11-3 lead for the Guelph Gryphons here. And McGill will keep a power play after that goal.
Pat, down on the field, it's Jordan Critch has gone to the penalty box. Did you see what the penalty was?
Yeah, I actually did not see what the penalty was for. I was actually listening in to the McGill bench, and they were saying that they got to capitalize on these power plays. But when they do not score, they got to really ride hard because Guelph's struggling on the clear. Not only just not just even strength, but even more on the power play. Back to you guys.
What a save by Waitche as Curtis Knight drives in, crosses hands again, and tries to get one off. Waitche gets it, but McGill has taken a penalty. This one by Bradley Hoffman. We're going to see a cross check.
You're going to see this absolute gorgeous move by Knight to get away and just get that shot off still as he's getting hit by McDermott. But Waitche with a beautiful save to keep that one out. And we're going to be playing a little 5-on-5 lacrosse here for a second before this penalty gets released.
Critch is back out, so it is 6-on-5 now for Guelph, and he'll just go back and join the offense. Taking his time, working down into the slot. Knight fakes the shot from out high. Quick close there by Quentin Bradley to limit Knight. There's the shot. I actually thought that Corbett was going to go across to Ryan Serville there.
Yeah, it looked like it. Serville open on that far corner. Not too many times that he gets an open look like that. But they're going to decide to go with the shot. And a great hustle there by William Weish to get that ball back for the McGill Redmen.
Yeah, nice play by the goalie to be the first man back and regain possession for them. Danny McDermott will run up. They get the ball cleared. Dan Williams with it. Watched by Blaze McCullough. Just a couple of seconds, and we'll be back to even strength as Sasson Lawless comes out onto the field.
That penalty now released, so it's 6-on-6 here in the offensive zone for the McGill Redmen.
Curtis Knight turns aside. Anders Biela. And we're already almost 10 minutes through this third quarter. The score 11-3. Guelph holding on to that lead so far. Things going exactly the way the Gryphons would like them to thus far, other than that one goal, but that's not too bad. Sasson Lawless' shot turned aside by Lalani, and a nice pickup by Wortman. He's going to run Burnell on him. Burnell took a bit of a bad angle and allowed Wortman to get all the way past him with the one hand on the stick, just carrying it right down to goal line extended. Now he'll flip it over to Critch and go back and take a bit of a rest, a well-earned one for Wortman.
Some great wheels by Wortman there, absolutely just burning by the McGill defenders. But as you said there, they didn't take the proper angle on him, and he had just a clean, free lane right up the sidelines.
Guelph slowing things down. Burke goes over to Ulbicus. They're going to move the ball around the outside. McDermott with lots of pressure. You can see McGill wanting to get out and force things. And Serville cuts inside McDermott. He's going to the net, makes the pass across. That's actually tipped away. I think it went off of McGill's stick. It's going to be Mike Burke hustling back to get it before midfield. He rolls it down. Corbett goes to Critch, and you can hear Sam Kozakowski, the Guelph coach, yelling, settle. Critch is going to drive out, though, and try and create something. Serville shoots, scores. They did not settle for long, and they get back the goal that they gave up.
As we keep saying, this Guelph team, they all on offense, they have a nose for the net. You're going to see Critch on the replay here in a second make a nice move to get open. And Serville, again, he always seems to be able to find a way to get the ball and get a shot off, even if he has a couple guys on top of him. And as you just see, I'm just going to cut to the middle. McDermott just losing him for a second there and just able to get that shot off, as you saw Jack Stewart trying to drop down, but not in time. And we're going to send this down to our man on the field, Pat Gregoire.
Yeah, guys, Ryan Spill, very special player. Big body, but also very skilled. He's one of those guys that you can't stop. You have to contain, and defenders do a really struggle to try to strip away the ball from him. You got to just contain him because he's impossible to stop. Back up to you guys.
Serville actually did a really nice job there, just with the angle he took, going up high, staying away because McDermott was down by the crease. If Serville had slid down too far towards the net, Critch's pass would have given time for McDermott to get on him. He stayed up high enough that he still had some space, and just not too high so that, as we mentioned, Jack Stewart, I believe it wasn't able to get there.
Yeah, and that's something good goal scorers know how to do. They find their way to the open spaces and can sort of sense where everybody else is around the field on them.
Just a knack for knowing where to be. And now again, Guelph will slow it down. We know that when there's a chance to go to the net to get a good shot, they'll take it. But right now they're spreading things out, and there's Bradley Hoffman way out in pressure on Corbett.
Stall called on the field now. Referee's trying to want to get this game going a little more. It's sort of contradictory to the way Guelph's sort of been playing, moving fast. But with a big lead like this, they're going to start calling it definitely more often against the Gryphon team.
This time Dan Williams out with pressure on Knight. Mike Burke takes the ball, and he's going to slow things down. He'll wait for a man to come out to him. You can hear, I believe it's Sam Kozakowski, the head coach, saying, patience, they've got to come, they've got to come. They have to come out to you. There's no need while they're down low, even with the stall warning on. They don't have to advance to the net, just stay down low.
Nice
Nick Salbury comes out to put some pressure on. Burke will give it up to Knight, to Critch, who's come out above the goal line. Now he's going to head out back down low. Knight reverses field. He's looking for someone to pass to. He's going to cut to the net. Actually loses the ball. And it almost winds up bouncing into the net off a McGill defender, but the Redmen come up with it.
Nice move by Knight there at first, but maybe just one too many as he wasn't able to hold on to it. And the ball is going to end up in the Redmen's favor now.
They're moving down. And a shot by Bradley Hoffman. He looked a couple times at passes, possibly to Alex Rohrbach or maybe over to Jake Gutman. And instead, he lets the shot rip. They do get it back as is Reese Burnell hustling down to the line.
That's the one thing we saw against McGill, from McGill yesterday, and it's known all season long. The long pole's not afraid to jump in on the offense, take a quick shot or pass it off, and then quickly sprint back and get set for the next their next defensive set.
Leland DeLangley takes the pass, gets it over to to Rufus Frost. He goes down to Rohrbach. Brandon Stahl with a bit of a spin. Couple of changes of direction. Another one. Chris LeBlanc, great job staying right with him. But they get it off. And the hard shot by Rohrbach. But that one is actually going to be Guelph possession as they whip to the line right on the shot.
We've seen that a few times today from both squads, as most times when shots go like that, directly behind the net, retains offensive possession. But both squads defensively doing a good job hustling and getting the ball back for their squad.
Luke Stockton, number 8 for Guelph, going for a run. Actually looked a little surprised that things just opened up so much for him. He didn't quite know what to do, and then the defender came up and pressured. So he just gives it back to the rest of the team, and Curtis Knight runs off with the ball. Hoffman on him. Knight's going to come down low. Driving wide of the net. Gives it off to Serville. Olbicus has it fly right past him, but he should be the first guy there. Olbicus actually stepped over center there. That's all right, though.
As the defensive guy's back.
Yeah.
But you see the McGill players, though, just for a second, we're thinking maybe get a little stick check on it. But you don't want to try to push too hard sometimes. All you have to do is just step on the line. And it's very easy to do that when you're off balance or have a head of steam.
Goodwin gets the pass and tries to go straight back, but just goes away from Quentin Bradley and rolls out of bounds. That's a tough one because McGill had a good offensive position to get a chance. And I think if Goodwin had that one to do again, he might just take the shot or slow things down and set it up. Here's Mike Burke running the ball up the field. The attack man back in a bit of a midi roll right now.
You'll see some teams do that sometimes. As a lot of attackmen have really, really good hands in clearing situations, run up, catch the team off guard as long pole's not used to always running up towards center, and you can get an easy free clear and sometimes on that occasion.
Critch watched by Nix, reverses direction a couple times, gives it off to Burke, who's now well back behind the net. Salbury on him. Stall warning on the Gryphons. Comes up to Corbett. He passes across. Serville thinking shot. Now he's going to try and get it. It's knocked away.
And one too many moves there by Serville, leaving his stick exposed, and McGill, good job there stripping it.
Goodwin takes the pass. This time he's going to get it down to Stahl. Stahl with Wortman on him. That's knocked free. Corbett with a push. I think the McGill folks thought it was a bit of a push from behind. Wortman trying to get the ball. But hustle by Bromley to get it. There's Goodwin wide open. Lalani knocks it away just at the last second.
Oh, absolute great play, Lalani. If Goodwin would have found that ball open in the middle, that's going to be pretty much an automatic goal for him.
Now Bromley gets it, and this time Lalani's ready for the shot and stops it. That pass, though, rushed a little and thrown away from Corbett. He swats it, and it comes to McDermott.
Oh, absolute great switch there. A recognition by the McGill defense as McDermott was going to cross center and was able to drop back in time.
Anders Biela got back over the line, the attack. There's the pass by Sassone Lawless, and Bromley misses the net once again.
McGill getting a few chances here, just not able to capitalize on anything that has been given to them by this Griffin defense.
They really haven't had a very good shooting day, and, it happens sometimes. It's just a shame for you when it happens in the national championship. For anyone watching who hasn't seen a lot of these teams play this year, Guelph is a very good team, but this is not the McGill team we're used to. They are an outstanding team as well. They're certainly not this is not indicative of the way most games between these two teams would go.
Oh no, McGill, I was saying undefeated so far this season. 12-0 in the regular season, now 2 playoff wins, so 14 straight Kufla wins in just 2014. But a beautiful goal there by the Redmen, and you never know, that could be the spark that gets things going. We're going to get to see the replay here as Emile Sasson-Lalisse getting the goal for the second one of the night for him. And that's nice little fake there, getting his defender to bite and just ripping that shot top shelf. He's got a cannon.
A lot of power. And we're going to see the standings. These are the East standings. You see McGill, 12 wins, a +115 goal differential. Just a very impressive season. Guelph, 8-4, as you mentioned, 1 loss by forfeit, but just a +62 goal differential. Big difference. They certainly looked like, by the numbers, one of the weaker teams in Kufla to make the Baggataway Cup. But I think everyone knew after what they did last year that wasn't the case. But still, it's got to be a bit of a surprise that it's 12-4.
Well, this Guelph Griffin team, definitely knows how to play here at the Baggataway Cup playoff team. All their plan is probably all season long, just get here, and we know we can win this. We won 3 games in a row last year. We can do it again this year.
Dan Williams staying up in the offense. The shot by Goodwin. Lalani gets the ball on the shot, and for some reason just flings it down the length of the field. It might be the end of the quarter. Yeah, it is. Okay, so the final seconds tick away. It's an 8-goal lead heading into the final 20 minutes for the Guelph Gryphons. We talked about how they would want to have a strong first part of the game and a lead going into the fourth. They couldn't have dreamed of it being an 8-goal lead. We'll take a break. I'm Stephen Stamp with Malcolm Westhaver and Pat Gregoire for this JVI Sports Network presentation of the 2014 Baggataway Cup. All right, lacrosse friends, welcome back to the Baggataway Cup Championship. Let us know who you think should be the players of the game. So far for McGill MCG POG, for Guelph GUE POG, and for the overall player of the game, we're looking at Curtis Knight has been fantastic. Jordan Critch, what a strong game. And maybe Michael Lalani, the goaltender, is also, has been very good.
Yeah, that's what we were saying in the break there. Lonnie not making any have to make a lot of saves, but he's making the saves that he needs to keep McGill off the board.
Let's go down to Pat Gregoire while the play is out around midfield.
Hey guys, thanks. I was listening to both of the huddles during that quarter time there, and both speeches by each coach were very similar. They said it's the fourth quarter. There's a lot of time left, a lot of lacrosse. Yes, the score looks like how it is, but there's no doubt that McGill can keep coming back in this game. Back up to you guys.
Jordan Critch's shot sails wide, but Serville is back there to get the ball. He's going to take a quick inspection of the ball, make sure it's usable for play.
Yeah, this, for anyone not a lacrosse player out there, some of those balls, they have a little bit of stickiness to them when they're brand new, but they lose that and they call what you think called a grease ball out there, and really hard to pass and shoot with that as it normally goes a lot higher than what you'd expect.
Jordan Critch picks it up after that. Behind the back shot by Curtis Knight sailed wide. Michael Burke has the ball. Burke watched by Sowbury. McDermott looking to come and help. Comes out to Ulbicus. Hoffman all over him. Serville gets the pass. Curtis Knight way up high. Quentin Bradley out with him. It's a lot of running for Bradley to cover Knight because they're sending him wherever Knight goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be. He's done a good job in parts tonight, but once they get to that power play, Knight just too hot for that McGill defense to handle.
Guelph taking their time. The first 2 minutes almost complete of this fourth quarter, so there's 10% of this fourth quarter they have to kill gone. It's quite a comfortable feeling when you know you can be outscored by 7 goals in the fourth quarter and still win. And that call, I believe the stall was on, and Curtis Knight may have stepped outside the 35-yard line.
Probably going to start seeing, as we saw at the end of that third quarter, the stall being called very quickly once Guelph gets the ball in the offensive zone. Referees recognizing how big the lead is, and they want to make sure that Guelph keeps pushing it and not trying to sit back on their 8-goal lead.
Ball comes over to Stahl from Rohrbach. Sassone Lawless gives it up to Goodwin. Sorry, it's Anders Biela. He takes the shot. That one goes wide.
And that's another thing we were saying there in quarter time. A lot of shots from the McGill Redmen today, sailing high over the net or wide, just not able to get their shots dialed in. And you were saying tough shooting day, but it's tough even more when it's in the national championship.
Rohrbach comes out from behind. He's watched by by Matthew Lyons. He's trying to get a shot off. He gets one and he scores. What a shot. Great play by Alex Rohrbach for the 5th McGill goal.
Absolute beautiful cutback. You see, he just had a very tough angle, and probably the only spot he could have put that was right along the post. And it's going to put the 5th goal up on the board for the McGill Redmen. And during the replay, we're going to send it down to the field to Pat Gregoire.
Exactly what McGill needs to get back in this game. Hearing from the sideline, Danny McDermott, one of the standout defenders for the McGill Redmen, he's already called it upon himself as to start running a full field press to get the ball back for the Redmen. Sometimes as a captain on the team or a veteran leadership on the back end, sometimes you got to call stuff out before the coaches call it, and usually the coaches give the green light for those players to do so. Back to you guys.
Calvin Holland comes up with the ball off the face-off, so Guelph keeps possession, and there's some of that full field pressure by Brandon Stahl on Nicholas Wortman. He makes the pass across to the far side, and here having to cut through 2 players is Burke. He's stripped of the ball, and McGill gets a shot. Great scoring opportunity. Goodwin's angry with himself for missing that one. Now the quick pass out to Burke, and an easy clear for Holland as McGill had all their pressure up the field, but great forced turnover by the Redmen.
A great double team, but then Lalani, big save for him. As we keep saying, not having to make a lot, but making the ones when it counts, especially as we saw yesterday as he stood on his head in that final few minutes to take out the Brock Badgers.
Critch coming out from behind the net, pass right in. What a great pass by Jordan Critch. Michael Burke taps that one home, and the lead extends even further.
And you see Critch driving hard from behind the net, looking like he may have looked going for the shot, and the McGill Redmen were thinking that as well, drawing a few defenders to him, sliding that off to Burke, and Burke makes them pay, restoring this 8-goal lead. So now McGill is going to have to score on average a 1 goal in under 2 minutes, about a minute like 45. Tough thing to do in a game like this against a high-powered Guelph team.
Especially against a team that you know is going to, when they get the ball, as they do here, Blaise McCullough scooping it up, are going to take all the time they can. McCullough's going to run up into the offensive zone. He's watched by Biela.
It's also hard to see Guelph Gryphons not getting at least another 1 or 2 goals in this game today, the way their offense has been going.
McCullough cradling the ball on his backside. They move down, got some pressure on Olbicus, passes to Serville. In normal circumstances, maybe he shoots that, but Serville does come back with the ball. There's McDermott right out at the sideline pressuring. Serville driving towards the net. Got position, shoots and scores. Ryan Serville with the long run. The big man showing he's got some speed and resiliency as he gets all the way to the net and tucks it home.
Oh, absolutely. Again, I keep saying this, but gorgeous, gorgeous goal for Ryan Serville. Just bullying by Danny McDermott and then getting the speed. And that's one of the top defenders in this entire league. You're seeing him do this against. And he's making it look really easy, using that arm as free protection and just running, getting around. Nice move to get the position and then switch hand shot.
Interesting. Watch Waitche as he comes out high. As he slides back down, he kind of misses his post and gets a little below the goal line even on the outside, which gave Serville a little more space than Waitche wanted to for, to shoot that ball. But that's also a play. You talk about McDermott being one of the top defenders. That is not a goal he would give up often, but it came about because he was out putting so much pressure on Serville right out to the sideline. Huge battle for this ground ball. Corbett comes in, looked like he was going to get it, but it's actually going to come out to Connor Goodwin. Nedelko way up over midfield to check him. He's going to have to hustle back. Goodwin passes over to Bromley, one-hand catch, pass across, and it just gets away from Brandon Stahl and will roll out of bounds. Michael Lalani is fired up. I don't know if he or one of his defenders got a tip on that pass, but it does not work out for the Redmen.
This Guelph defense here, they're definitely recognizing that this press is coming and able to find that open man. One extra guy they'll have is that they can use the goaltender to pass to, and they're just doing a great job here right now, just avoiding this press coming from this Redmen attack.
Guelph throws it over to Lyons. He gets it back to Lalani. It was almost picked off there by Spencer Bromley. And the other thing for these McGill attack and middies, they're working so hard trying to create turnovers in the fourth quarter of this game. It's got to be tiring on them, even though it's only their second game of the weekend. There's a big hit by Jack Stewart. Stewart coming up into the offensive zone as Spencer Bromley runs down the field. There's the cutter. Subri was open, but it comes back to Bradley. That one goes wide once again. And Alex Rohrbach is hopping up and down, angry that the ball was awarded to Guelph on the restart.
He was absolutely livid there with the referee. You could see that. He definitely thought that he was the first person in the line. Referee disagreeing with him, saying Guelph got there first. And they're going to get possession here. You saw McGill in that last possession as they sort of pushed that shot, something they normally wouldn't do, but with this great deficit, they're going to have to continue to take some opportunities that normally would scare them.
Wortman up into the offensive zone. Curtis Knight will wait for him to get back over center before he runs ahead. Bradley Hoffman covering him. Critch behind the net. He's not going to receive the pass. He'll actually go up and close some space with Hayden Nix and let Serville take the ball. McDermott on him. Serville reverses field. Gives it to Knight. Knight goes to the net. That shot well up and above. Hits the football goalpost and bounces back out. It's going to be Guelph possession.
A nice original move by Knight to get open in the middle, but great slide coming from the McGill defense. As you see now, the goaltender William Leish popping out of his net, so the double team starts to come into effect for McGill.
Yeah, he's actually covering. Well, they get the timeout just before they lose the ball.
You're going to probably start seeing this now. Very early, 10 minutes left to play, but McGill's going to have to pull out all the stops. That's going to leave an open hole in the middle, so this double team's got to work. They've had success with it already when they use it in the offensive zone.
Now let's see who's closest to the back. The call must be, here's Rohrbach. He's going to jump up and down. He's upset. The call must be that the ball went out immediately, and Lalani was just deeper than Rohrbach was when the ball went out, because it really, look, there's Waitche covering Michael Cavanaugh, actually. And Curtis Knight's such a bit of a pick for him. But, yeah, it had to be the call at the other end was that the ball went out so quickly that Rohrbach didn't get a chance to get that step that got him behind Waitche.
Little split screen action here, getting to see both huddles. Actually, you would think similar conversations, just with different tones. Both teams saying there's lots of time left, but Guelph probably on the other side saying we got to make sure we keep them out, and McGill saying we got to use every last second we have into our and try to get back into this game. Definitely, when you're looking at that McGill bench there, you'd see Murdoch and the rest of the team normally is very full of life on that sideline, but not as much right now. A little more standing around, probably nerves creeping up, and as this clock starts to tick down.
Well, I think they're in a bit of disbelief at the way this game has gone. Jordan Critch is going to start with the ball. Again, they just got the timeout call before they lost possession. There's going to be a lot of pressure. Double team on Critch. They close up, close defense on Burke, the nearest man. Serville trying to slide open. They get it to him. McDermott on him. He is going to shoot for the net and put that one in, making it 15-5.
10-goal lead now for the Guelph Gryphons. Sometimes in the scenarios when the other team pulls the goalie, it's smarter to jog away and just hold on possession. But with this much time and with this big of a lead, Guelph is just going to continuously try to pile that ball into the back of the net.
Again, if you have thoughts on who should be the players of the game, there's the hashtags to use. Tweet us at JVI Video. Let us know who you think it should should be. Medary's back out there to take the face off against Johnston. He pulls it back to Dan Williams. Williams harassed by Nedelko, but gets the ball forward. Williams is going to go up and join the offense. Maybe that's what's going to work for McGill, is getting a long pole up into the offense. Now Williams will head back out. And Rufus Frost will join the attack. Rohrbach coming out from below the net. Matthew Lyons on him. Rohrbach trying to recreate the goal he just had, but he gets to Reese Burnell instead, and he rips a sidearm shot into the top corner.
McGill now cutting into it. That's exactly what they need to do. 9 minutes left to play, so goal a minute the rest of the way through to tie this back up and force overtime. And that's also saying they're going to have to also keep the Guelph Gryphons from popping another one in here, as we're going to get to see the replay here. Nice move from behind the net, getting that pass off, and then you just see Reese Burnell just rip a hard sidearm and beat the goaltender, Michael Lalani.
Goodwin comes up with the ball off the faceoff. He's going to run it up. There's a shot. And another goal for McGill. So they're getting things rolling a little bit here.
That's what they need to do. You see this McGill team can score in bunches and have a lot of guys on their roster that can bury goals. And while we're watching the replay, we're going to send it down on the field to Pat Gregoire.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Malcolm, you mentioned that McGill bench, very quiet, but as soon as they buried that goal there, they're back alive. They believe that they can still be in this game. Let's see if they can complete the comeback here, boys. Back up to you.
We're going to see again on that replay. Nice run in as a Goodwin, just another sidearm rip low, and it's going to be a 7-15 lead for the Guelph Gryphons. McGill just getting in their game plan is what they want to do, maybe clawing back. And thanks for that report down there, Pat, hearing that bench getting up, and maybe that's exactly what they need.
McGill within 8. Alex Rohrbach spinning around behind the net. He's been creating a lot for them out behind. Gets the pass to Sassone Lawless. Reese Burnell coming in, shoots. That one goes wide. Again, McGill missing the net. That ball's knocked out of the stick of Wortman. Great effort there by Rufus Frost. Burnell comes up with the loose ball. Sees Sassone Lawless open. That drifting pass almost gives Blaze McCullough time to get there, but McCullough runs past him. That pass pops up in the air. Nice job by Nedelko to get a stick on stick, and eventually winds up with McGill again, driving to the net, and a goal by Rufus Frost, his second of the game.
Absolute gorgeous goal. These McGill Redmen not giving up at all. You can see that McGill bench, Coach Murdoch jumping up and down, getting really pumped up for this team, and he's going to call a timeout on the field. Definitely keeping this momentum for the McGill Redmen. Now only down 7 goals, 6.5 to go. That's doable the way they've been scoring in these last little bit here. We're going to get to see on the replay here. That ball popped up right in the middle. McGill able to recover, pop, and get it back out, and getting that pass right down the crease. And Frost, nice move to just swing around his defender and get that ball past Lalani.
6:25 to go. 7 goals they need. They're doing it so far. The goal a minute pace, very difficult to keep up. But Guelph has been so good today. But sometimes momentum starts to shift. You get back on your heels a little bit. And this is where Guelph has played the 3 games in 3 days. They've had a lot of adrenaline today, but if the momentum starts to shift, that can kind of get drained out of you, and the fatigue can start to seem a bit more apparent.
Yeah, this Guelph team, they may be tired without even knowing it, and then once you're saying the momentum starts to go the other way, it actually starts to kick in. And could be a big thing. If McGill's able to pull this off and come all the way back, this is going to be one of the biggest comebacks I think I've ever seen in a game of any sport.
Medary and Johnston facing off, and Johnston comes up with the win. That's huge for possession. McGill, they need to score, but to keep scoring, they need to get face-off wins and get possession. So a great job by Scott Johnston, as Pat Gregoire called him the unsung hero of the weekend. Jordan Critch has the ball.
As you can see out here, Guelph just still continuing to go with their big guns. They know they can hold on to the ball and kill this clock, as well get scoring opportunities when it needs to be. As you see Knight now, nice moves, and his goes down in a heap. His knee completely buckled on him as he planted, and he just completely dropped down. That does not look good at all. Those type of situations can be very scary for a player.
See if we get a look on the replay here to see what happened. He's definitely in a lot of pain. He immediately grabbed the knee and is barely moving.
As seeing from my angle, he just completely, when his foot planted down and just maybe trying to change directions. Hopefully we can get a replay here.
It'll be on the right side of the screen as we see it. Just take a look for Curtis Knight. You see him right there.
Number 9.
He just plants and the knee caves inward. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. That's obviously a lot of pain right now.
Being down looked at by the training staff, those kind of injuries are just very scary to look at. Can be something very minor, a little sprain, and you never know. Something big is the torn ACL, and that would never be good for someone.
Don't even say that.
As someone who goes, who definitely plays professional box lacrosse as well.
Well, Knight had such a great year last year for the Edmonton Rush in their historic 16-2 season. Getting off to an incredible run of undefeated, a run of wins off the start of the season, and he was named their most valuable player by the team. He's one of the really great players in the game of lacrosse. And you can see how much pain is on his face. He is helped up.
He cannot put any pressure on that leg whatsoever. They're not. It looks like the way they're trying to hold him, they're not even going to let him try to walk off on the one leg. They're going to carry him completely off the field. That could be a big loss for this Guelph Gryphons team if McGill is able to continue this run they're on right now. But we wish all the best of luck to Curtis Knight there, and hopefully the injury's not too bad.
Yeah, hopefully it's just something he's going to be able to get over quickly. You'd hate to see a guy lose a...
And we're going to replay it again. If you have a weak stomach here and you can look away for a second. But Knight, number 9, just you see right there in his paws, his knee just completely gives out on him and he drops down in a heap.
Yeah. Of lacrosse with the Edmonton Rush. Anyway, McGill has the ball. Connor Goodwin starts with it, floats one all the way up to Bradley Hoffman. And Connor Goodwin's going to have to stay back. They want him up in the offense, so Hoffman's going to sprint back to center as Sassone Lawless takes the ball behind the net, watched by Calvin Holland, and Holland's going to have to fill in for Knight for these remaining 5.5 minutes. The net gets knocked off, and that's going to be a goal by Sassone Lawless. Sorry, by Connor. Is that Sassone Lawless? Yes, it is.
McGill going to stop the clock quickly here, call their timeout. And when in lacrosse, both box and field, the net gets knocked out of place. It's not the referees don't stop it right away. They can keep the play going as the offensive player is not really allowed in the crease, so it's only going to be the goaltender or one of his own teammates that knocks it out of place. This one, though, fortunately turns the net directly towards the McGill player, giving him a full open net from the side angles. We're going to get to see here. Little cut back, and it's the defender for the Gryphons doing it for himself, just opening up the net perfectly for McGill to get that goal.
Tough break for Calvin Holland on the field for Curtis Knight, and he runs around, reverses field with Sassone Lawless, and just catches his knee on the back pipe there of the net and pulls it around, pulling that left post back, and Sassone Lawless saw that, and of course, as a goalie, how does Michael Alani adjust to that?
No chance there. And if you've been watching Kufla lacrosse all season long, these nets actually here at this field a little bit different than what you're used to seeing, as they have that extra bar going down the middle to sort of push the net away, and that's what caught. And looks like that's what he caught on. If this was a game played at most other fields, that bar is not there, and that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, the mesh would have probably given a bit more, but bit of a break for McGill. Let's see if they can take advantage. They're 15-9. Down by 6, 5:16 to go. They're doing the goal-a-minute pace over the last few minutes that they need to maintain. This would be one of the most remarkable comebacks in the history of sports if they can pull it off. Still a long shot, but they definitely have the momentum. Except there goes a face-off win by Scott Johnston. That's a huge one once again, taken away from Mederi.
Huge game for him, especially in this third and fourth quarter. I find just winning more and more of these face-offs and keeping this possession. And the nice timeout call you see there. He saw the triple team coming, knew probably he couldn't get through it or get a pass off. So get the timeout, and they're going to get to reset where they want to be.
So 5 minutes exactly remaining. The score 15-9 for McGill. For Guelph. Sorry about that. And they will have possession of the ball after this timeout.
Again, this is a rematch of last year's Baggataway Cup Championship, which saw the Guelph Gryphons knock off McGill. Guelph doing the same thing what they did last year, winning 3 games in 3 days to have to go all the way. If they can do that, they'll be champions. And while this timeout's going on, we're going to send it down to our man on the field, Pat Gregoire.
Just talking to the trainer of the Guelph Gryphons, Curtis Knight, done for the day, obviously, with that knee injury. They obviously can't diagnose it yet, but he's for sure done for the day. They asked him if he wanted to get carted off and sent away to get it checked out, but he said there's no way that he was leaving this game until it's over. Back to you guys.
Yeah, when they picked up Curtis Knight, I assumed that that they would want to take him to the dressing room, get him away, and there's no way he was going to leave before this game was over. Not when they have a chance to win back-to-back championships.
Knight is a true battler, the kind of guy. He's got heart and soul of this Guelph team so far, and guys like that are never going to go away, sit in the dressing room, and just watch their team win a championship from there. He's going to want to be there. That no matter what kind of pain he's in, get checked out and. Like we're saying, unlike most guys, though, where most guys can wait till next season, he's got a NLL season coming up.
Burke double teamed by Hoffman and Quentin Bradley, and Hoffman comes up with a great pressure by McGill. They get it back. The clock has not started running. There's Waitche out by midfield. This is really helping McGill as the clock is not going on the field. There it goes now. Sideline says there's 4:30, so the clock down on the field itself is going. So, and actually we've got it right on the screen there. It looks like 4:20. So don't think that the score clock in the stadium will have an impact. But if Guelph saw that probably gave them some starts. Ball comes back up top to Sassone Lawless over to Goodwin. Goodwin trying to drive by Mike Burke, who's playing some defense now. He's turned aside by Olbicus, who's back there playing D. So they've got a couple of guys normally play most of their time up in the offensive zone, playing a big D role. And he makes the pass. Nice pass between a couple of defenders to Holland. Holland's going to try and split the double team. Doesn't manage it. Sassone Lawless and Burnell knocked away from him, and Burnell's got it. Here comes Sassone Lawless. He makes the pass down. Bromley's got it. Sassone Lawless gets it back. He's got a few goals today. See if he's going to let one rip. He's going to pass over to Goodwin, who lets it go and scores. 15-10 as Connor Goodwin drops down low and fires high.
McGill getting right back out there. You see just sprinting straight to center to set up for a face-off. Remember the last 3 minutes of the game, our stop time, but we haven't hit that point yet. So McGill wants to get it, not burn a timeout. We're going to see the goal here. Goodwin just wide open down there on the side. Slide coming way too late. He's able to get that hard sidearm rip.
We're just taking a look as the goal was scored. Curtis Knight reacting to that goal scored. Some pleasure and then some pain. 15-10, under 3 minutes to go. Here's Frost spinning, trying to get clear with Blaze McCullough all over him. Gets to Goodwin. Goodwin with one hand on the stick. Switches hands, switches again, comes through but loses the ball. Great job by Scott Johnston to pick it up. 2.5 minutes to play, and Johnston runs up into the offensive zone. Nice effort there by Biella to try and force him out, but great sturdy play by Scott Johnston. Now Jordan Critch will take the ball in behind. There you see the double team, Nix and Frost on him. He's going to escape from both of them. Wrap check by Nix, can't get it. He gets by Frost. There's Frost, who's more of a forward. Critch is going to come out. He gets knocked away from the net. 2 minutes to play. We hear from Pat Gregoire down on the sideline. Mike Burke has the ball way out on him. Tries the wrap check, and Burke gets away from it. He's protecting the ball. Stall warning on Guelph. Critch, watched by Nix. Serville is there to help him out. Nobody really has an open passing lane. Now Serville cuts. Critch tries to get it to him. Nice play by McDermott to knock it free, and Waitche grabs the ball and goes for the long bomb. Minute and a half to go. Alex Rohrbach with the ball. Rohrbach spins, shoots just a little bit wide for Alex Rohrbach. That one should be, now that one I thought was going to be Guelph ball, but they actually give it to McGill with 1:21 to play. The ball goes out of bounds. We're back underway. Sassone Lawless fakes the shot, spins. Nice job by McCullough recovering. There's the pass right in the slot. What a save by Lalani.
Lalani again coming up huge when his team needs him to play big. That's what he's done all weekend.
And on Spencer Bromley, the 26th goal scorer from the regular season. Bounces off a red out of bounds with the final minute of play underway. McGill has the ball back. Here comes Goodwin. They're pushing. They're not giving up. He spins, shoots just a little bit high, as has been the story so many times for them. But Bromley is back there to get the ball. Bromley attacks immediately. LeBlanc on him, pushing him out. Bromley passes it. Burnell's going to have to fire it. He scores.
Reese Burnell again, big, a few goals, hat trick I believe for him tonight. 44 seconds we're receiving down on the field from Pat Gregoire. So you can see Lalani just not too happy maybe with that goal there. He's just taking a couple extra seconds, kneeling down, maybe collecting himself, getting ready. 4 goals in a matter of a couple seconds. Going to be very tough for the Redmen to do, but as it is a stop clock, unlike a regular time game, this is able to maybe pull it out. Nice win on the faceoff though right now.
Diving play there by Heidecker. But McGill still comes up with it. The clock is on the field. We're into the final 30 seconds. And what a save by Lalani. It was almost a goal there by Alex Rohrbach. The pass by LeBlanc comes over to Heidecker. He's going to throw it all the way across the field to the short stick. That's Stockton. Stockton tries to get to Wortman, but Burnell is on him. Gets the ball free. Burnell passes in. Shovel shot and a goal by Quentin Bradley. Unbelievable comeback by McGill. You got to think it's going to fall short as we're in the final 30 seconds, but my goodness, what an effort by this team.
The McGill Redmen showing that they're never going to give up and battling right till the bitter end. Reason why this is their 3rd straight year in the national championship game. And again, this team from Montreal building over the years and becoming a big powerhouse. Definitely not what they were expecting out of their team today.
Stay with us when the game is complete. Malcolm Westhaver is heading down to the field right now. That is the final whistle. Malcolm will be down to do some interviews with some of the victorious Guelph Gryphons along with Pat Gregoire. And what a celebration for these Guelph Gryphons. The only guy not running out into the huddle is Curtis Knight, who puts his head down in his hand. He's still in a lot of pain, but very excited to have won back-to-back championships with these Guelph Gryphons. What a finish to this game. McGill can hold their head up that they battled back hard after the insurmountable lead that Guelph was able to establish. And now the Gryphons, who gathered by the goal to celebrate, are all running. The entire team is sprinting over to engage Curtis Knight, include him in the celebration. Final score 15-12. Last year it was 14-11, an identical 3-goal differential in the Baggataway Cup Canadian University Field Lacrosse Association Championship. We'll have the players of the game for each team shortly. I would think when the announcement comes out that I would have to think that Curtis Knight is the most valuable player of this tournament. What a tournament he has had. Let's go down onto the field, I think, to Pat Gregoire. Pat, are you with somebody already? No, my mistake. I think Pat's not, we're not ready for Pat yet. So we'll just keep our eye on the celebration. There's Curtis Knight over on the bench. There is Guelph over having their celebration. The McGill team huddled together as one. Tim Murdoch in the center of the group, down by their goal, having a word with them. They will start to make their way towards center to establish a handshake line. The Guelph Gryphons will come and join them soon to exchange handshakes. Again, Curtis Knight will stay on the bench. We're sure he's not going to come out and be part of that line. Here come the Redmen. Now Guelph making their way out to midfield. (15-12), the final score. Back-to-back championships for the Guelph Gryphons. The handshake line going now. Michael Alani leading the way for Guelph.
Matt, can you cut cameras?
Pat Gregoire is down looking for people to talk to, and he will be joined. I believe he's going to try and grab Tim Murdoch, the head coach of the McGill Redmen, once he's gone through the line. Guelph having another little celebration as they finish the end of the line. Tremendous performance again. The Guelph Gryphons winning 2 years in a row, and a big part of the story is they came in both times as a third seed and proceeded to win games Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon. 6 wins in 2 Baggataway Cup championships, and technically in each one you could consider them an underdog. Obviously the underdog meaning not very much to this team, as they believe very firmly in themselves, and with good reason. There's Sam Kozakowski and Tim Murdoch at the end of the handshake line, giving each other a few words. Now Tim Murdoch heading over. I believe Pat Gregoire is going to grab him. Looks like they're lining up on the 40-yard lines for the player of the game presentation. Murdoch just telling his guys to spread out. There's Jack Stewart with, it looks like, with his parents getting consoled after another tough loss.
With 11 points, Guelph, number 2,
Jordan Critch, 11 points on the day. He's being announced as the player of the game and receiving his award. The Mark Mesh player of the game receives a strung head. Again, we have Malcolm Westhaver and Pat Gregoire down on the field. Kufla Commissioner Dave Fennicky making a statement addressing the teams.
And all the fans who make all this worthwhile. Special thank you to the volunteers who helped us out, as well as the referees who gave their time and their weekend for this championship. Please join me in a round of applause. At this time, I would like to invite the captains of the Guelph Gryphons to accept the Baggataway Cup trophy.
Here goes David Nedelko up there and Jordan Critch. They're waving to Curtis Knight over on the bench, another one of the captains for this team. So Critch and Nedelko accepting the trophy for the 2nd straight year.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2014 Baggataway Cup champions, Guelph Gryphons.
Guelph taking the trophy over to the bench so Curtis Knight can be part of the celebration. You can see the whole team rallying around their fallen star and leader. The culmination of a season's effort, a season's worth of work and sweat. Now we will go down onto the field where Pat Gregoire is joined by McGill head coach Tim Murdoch.
Hey guys, yeah, we're on the video. Hey guys, alongside head coach of the McGill Redmen, Tim Murdoch. Tim, unbelievable effort in the 4th quarter. You guys almost completed the comeback. What did you guys change in that 4th quarter to almost make a comeback?
We just started up with the game plan we should have been on the whole game. We just dug a huge hole for ourselves. You can't do that against a team like this. They're just dangerous offensively. And we knew that if we could put the pressure on their defense, we'd get the goals. Just, I don't know how many scored in the fourth quarter, 8 or 9 goals. The clock ran out on us. I thought we had all the momentum toward the end of the game, but they're a very deserving champion, and they outplayed us today.
You know, going undefeated during the regular season, coming into this game, do you feel that maybe, you know, going through the regular season so easily kind of made you guys not be able to fight the adversity earlier on in the game, and it kind of was a battle throughout the entire game?
Well, actually, no. Our undefeated season was extremely difficult to achieve. We had 3 close games. Trent University actually took us to overtime. Bishop's University, it was a 1-goal game with those guys. Same with Queens down in Kingston. So as much as we were undefeated, we certainly were challenged along the way.
You know, this is your 3rd straight year going to the Baggataway Cup Championship. That's obviously a fantastic job that yourself and the coaching staff has done. A lot of wide recruiting. How have you guys been able to recruit so well around the board?
Well, McGill is a world-class institution, as are many of the schools in the CUFLA, and we just made a big effort to recruit across Canada and the United States, and we'll continue to do so. I think you're starting to see more Canadian players, student-athletes staying in the CUFLA. Hopefully that'll continue. We're also seeing a lot of Americans coming across the border, not just to play with McGill, to play with Western, Queens, Toronto, other schools. So the future's bright, and all I would say is it's fortunate that I've been able to focus on the recruiting. We have Sean Steinwald, Cornell MVP. He's done a wonderful job with our program, and he's the reason we've had so much success this year.
Perfect. Thank you very much, and a great season.
Thank you.
That was Tim Murdoch of the McGill Redmen.
Thanks, Pat. And Tim Murdoch, a real class act, terrific coach, terrific recruiter, and a real ambassador for the game of field lacrosse, and just does a tremendous job. We'll see if Malcolm Westhaver is grabbing one of the Guelph Gryphons to have a bit of a chat. Certainly the team very excited. A bunch of the players have gone over to pick up their equipment that was spread all around the field when they yard sailed at the end of the game as they ran out. So the score again, 15-12 in favor of the Guelph Gryphons. It certainly didn't look like it was going to be that close when we were earlier in the game and they got the big lead. But McGill with a hard battle back, trying to get back into it. The Gryphons celebrating again over by the bench to allow Curtis Knight to be a part of it. Looks like Pat Gregoire will be joined by, I believe that's Sam Kozakowski. We're all the way across the field, but I think that is Sam Kozakowski joining Pat.
Thanks, Stephen. I'm alongside head coach Sam Koskowski of the Guelph Gryphons, 2014-2013 Baggataway Cup champions. Sam, 2 years in a row now, slow start, pick it up near the end, and able to capture a title. How have you guys been able to do this?
Well, a good part of it is leadership. You know, we got a solid bunch of lacrosse players who've played this game for a lot of years. There's tons of experience on this team, and those guys know how to do it when it needs to get done. It's a building process. You know, we told the guys every practice we want to get just a little bit better. Every game we want to get a little bit better. And we just keep pushing. And we knew the end of the season was going to be like this. And so that was what we were building for.
And many people, you know, coming into this tournament saw your offense as a big, powerful offense. But a big storyline in this tournament for you guys, especially in this last game, your defense. How much did they step up for you guys?
They were spectacular. I mean, and they know it to a man. We talked about it. Everybody in the league thinks that our offense is really strong, but our defense is suspect. And they knew that, and they all stepped up, and they were ready to play.
Another part of that defense that was huge, especially in the last 2 games, in the last quarters, your goaltender, Lilani. How good was he for you, and how much did he step up in the big times, making those big-time saves for you guys?
Well, you got to look at him. Without him back there, it's a different story. I mean, he stood on his head. He's focused. He comes to the games ready to play. He's focused. He's ready to go. And the bottom line is when he's ready to play, he's ready to play. And he's on the ball. He sees the ball well. And you know what? It's funny. A lot of guys look at him because he's a potentially not the quintessential looking goaltender. but man, is he quick and he's got focus.
Perfect. All right, I'll let you go and enjoy that win. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And that was Sam Kosakowski. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Pat Gregoire, for that interview with the Guelph head coach. And certainly a great job. Now Malcolm Westhaver will be joined by Michael Lalani down at near the midfield stripe.
Malcolm Westhaver here with Michael Lalani. Big weekend for you, big saves when your team needed it. How do you feel about winning back-to-back national championships?
I mean, it's not only awesome for myself doing it, but the guys leaving, they've put a lot into this. They've been here 4 or 5 years, some of them, and it's a good feeling to get back to the guys who put everything into it.
Big weekend for you guys, 3 games in 3 days, the same as last year. Yesterday, a tough game against Brock, and at the end of the game, we were talking about it, you came out big, making some huge saves to keep your team in it. How do you feel about your performance this weekend?
Pretty good. I mean, there's a couple, obviously, that I'd like back, but I think that's pretty much everyone can say that. No one's ever really fully thrilled with their performance, but I think if you get it done, you get the final result, what you want, I mean, it's all good. Wouldn't change anything now.
Again, Malcolm Westhaver, Michael Lalani, starting goaltender for the national championship Guelph Gryphons. Congratulations on your championship.
And as that interview was going on with Malcolm talking to Michael Lalani, we just saw Curtis Knight being carted off the field on a, they have some golf cart like some John Deere tractors, I guess. And Curtis Knight has been brought across the field on that, his knee already wrapped up in a tensor bandage, holding ice on it. And definitely a tough blow for him, but a 2-time champion here he'll go out as, and he's going to be helped off the cart by some teammates and carried down again, not even letting him walk with the leg dangling down and walking on the other foot. He's being carried by teammates down the steps. We have, again, Pat Gregoire and Malcolm Westhaver down on the field. And it looks like Pat Gregoire will be joined by Mike Burke, who had a huge game yesterday with 5 goals. And another contribution today. So let's go down to Pat Gregoire on the field.
No worries. Hey, guys, thanks. I'm alongside Mike Burke here, big-time player for the Guelph Gryphons. Mike, once again, big-time game. Your offense stepped up again. What you guys really do to break out offensively in the first half to give you guys a big enough lead?
Well, we had a pretty good game plan going in for the last 2 weeks before this. We were really focused. We knew we had 6 guys who could move the ball around and feed off each other. We didn't have any individuals. We had a lot of individual talent, but we said we weren't going to play as individuals. We were going to play as a team. And we showed that 6 guys on the same page with a little bit of talent can do a lot. So it was nice to be organized. Our coaches had us ready. The guys were ready. We were just focused this weekend, and it just seemed like one of those weekends where nothing was really going to stop us. So, we were just prepared, to be honest.
You talk about being prepared. Your offense obviously filling the net, but how big was your guys' defense and Michael Lalani and net to give you guys that support on the back end?
Well, we talked about it. We had a lot of older guys on offense that we didn't feel like we would panic at all. It was our defense that we'd feed off of. If our defense got stops, if our loose ball team got the ball in the face-off and our goalie made some saves and got us the ball, we knew we were in good shape. So we talked a lot about the defense having to bear down and just get some stops. And, at one point they had, 3 goals maybe in the third quarter there. So against a team that was undefeated all year, our defense stepped up when they needed to. And that's the main thing. We really fed off that today. And, it made the whole second half a little bit easier for us.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll let you go enjoy that win. Take care.
Yeah, thanks.
That was Mike Burke of the Guelph Gryphons. Back up to you, Stephen.
And we're going to go over now. Malcolm Westhaver joined by Scott Johnston, who had a big weekend in the face-off circle for Guelph.
Okay, down here on the field, Scott Johnson, huge weekend on the face-off circle, fighting for lots of loose balls, helping your team win. How do you feel about this weekend?
Yeah, we made ground balls a key part of our game plan. The guys coming off the wings did a big job this whole weekend in all 3 games. We just kind of wanted to muck it up and make sure we got the loose balls.
As you were saying to me a minute ago there, not a member of this team last year, but a member of the 2008 National Championship team. Long time coming to get back to the top. How's it feel to get another one?
Yeah, it's been a few years since I played Kufla, but I talked to Sammy, let him know I was coming back to school, and he said he welcomed me back to the team, so it felt great.
Again, down here with Scott Johnson. Congratulations on winning the national championship, and good luck next season.
Thank you very much.
Throwing it back up to you, Steve.
Scott Johnson, a member of the Toronto Rock in the offseason. We actually, until we saw him in the interview there, weren't 100% sure that was the Rock's Scott Johnson, since there are a few Scott Johnsons that play the game. But as you see, he's come back from 2008 when they won. He's come back to school and played a big role in helping the Gryphons win their third Baggataway Cup championship in the last 6 years. And what a performance by Scott Johnson over the weekend. This is the first time in quite a while, in about 6 years, we've had a run of brand new champions every year, and that changes now with Guelph winning the title again. But just highlighting the parity in the league as it's developed over the last half dozen seasons. And we're just going to take a look on the field, see if either Pat Gregoire or Malcolm Westhaver have someone else they're going to talk to. I believe Pat Gregoire is trying to grab Jordan Critch right down to our right of our broadcast booth. Yeah, he's got Jordan Critch, the MVP of the championship game. Jordan Critch with 11 points will be joining Pat Gregoire down on the field. We should get to a shot of him in just a second here.
Side Jordan Critch, MVP of the Baggataway Finals 2014. Jordan, you stepped up big. What really helped you out to fill the net and become a playmaker, especially in this last game?
I would say it wasn't me personally doing all the work. Our offense was just clicking. The passes were on. Everyone was shooting well. It's a lot easier for me. I'm saying getting that many assists. My guys are getting open all the time. But I think it started off really early. We were dominating the draws. We were moving the ball real well. Like again, I said, we were just sticking every shot we were getting. And again, it's really easy when you to rack up points. You got Curtis Knight cutting for you.
Yeah, he definitely makes it a lot easier. Now you mentioned Curtis Knight, seeing him get card off. But you guys really made this win a lot about him. Just bringing up the cup. How important is that team camaraderie with you guys?
Curtis Knight's probably the biggest heart and soul of the team. Everyone jokes around with him all the time, but he's a heart and soul. Everyone rallies around him. We're hardest working guy out there. He can put the ball in the net, get loose balls, whatever you need to do. But seeing him go down, no one wanted to see that. I guess I'm assuming either side's the same thing. But when that went down, it kind of like everyone's heart kind of sank. But we kind of rallied around him just to make sure we brought it home for him.
And last but not least, that defense really stepped up in the first three quarters. Like you mentioned when we were walking over, kind of got a little bit scary at the end. But, you guys were known as a power offense with kind of a weak defense and a weak goaltending. That really changed in the last two games. How big was that for you guys?
That was huge for us. Our defense knew that when we get the ball, we were going to put the ball away. But we need our defense to step up. And most teams are talking about how we were offense first team, defense not so strong. I think that they took that to heart a lot. So I think they came out with something to prove, and they definitely proved it tonight.
All right, perfect. Thank you. I'll let you go enjoy that win. Congratulations again.
Down here with Brett Albicus, back-to-back national championships, and the hero in yesterday's game, scoring the game-tying and game-winning goal against Brock Badgers and move yourself to the game. How do you feel about that game yesterday?
It was definitely a good game. Our team came out flying. I relied on my offensive guys, my offensive line to step up a lot. At the end there, the last quarter, I had to do what I had to do, so I put the ball in the net a couple times.
Two nice goals there at the end of the game, especially while Brock was watching your other offensive threats out there, getting down on that alley and getting a nice goal. So you say you got 2 years left to hopefully get another national championship for this Guelph team. How does it feel to be back-to-back national champion?
Oh, it definitely feels great. I mean, we got a whole new roster next year because I think 11 guys are leaving. So, I hope we can rebuild next year and have a good one next year.
So your season, you started off a little slow, 4 losses, coming in third spot, having to win 3 games in 3 days. How did you guys' mentality coming into this weekend?
We changed up the pace of practice a bit. We definitely pushed the pace out here as a team. We did a lot of team bonding over the weekend. We went to meals and stuff. Definitely helped out our team. That's definitely a big attribute to it, and we just became a team at the end, right when we needed it.
Again, Malcolm Wester, Brett Albicus, back-to-back national champion. Congratulations, and now I'm going to throw it over to Pat Gregoire.
Thanks, Malcolm. I'm here alongside LSM for the Guelph Gryphons, David Nedelko. David, your defense this weekend, especially the last 2 games, stepped up big. What did you guys change coming into this to be such a dominant force on the back end?
Practicing really hard. We got everybody out there. We got the depth in so we could throw in guys back and forth. We worked really hard on sliding hard when we needed it, and we're great one-on-one. Like, we just want to keep the guys to the outside, and if we keep them out there, we don't need those slides even, and we can take those outside shots, and Lonnie's going to stop them.
Yeah, you mentioned Lonnie, big time in big situations. How big was that for you guys?
Huge. When you get a big save from Lonnie, and those times when you're going out for D for like 3 or 4 minutes and you really need a save and you want to get the ball back, like, he's there. He's in the ball's way, and he's not letting that get in the net, and that helps out huge.
You guys mainly known for a very high-powered offense. A lot of teams, a lot of people talking about how the defense might have been the weak point for you guys. Was that a little bit of a chip on your shoulder coming into this tournament?
Absolutely. Like, we didn't hear that until before this game, so it certainly fired us up when we started out really, really strong, and that's what we wanted. Like, getting our D out there strong, stopping those guys fires up our offense, and they were able to put in so many in the first half that, like, we were just able to keep it rolling for most of the second half.
All right, perfect. I'll let you go enjoy this victory.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
That was David Nadelko, LSM All-Canadian. Back to you.
That will just about wrap up our coverage of the 2014 Baggataway Cup Championship won by the Guelph Gryphons. We'll give you our players of the game for each team. For Guelph, of course, with 11 points and a tremendous passing game, tremendous effort, Jordan Quinch. From McGill, Alex Rohrbach, who was a contributor to their offense, which picked up later in the game. But the champions, of course, the Guelph Gryphons. I am Stephen Stamp, joined by Gregoire and Malcolm Westhaver in bringing you this JVI Sports Network presentation of the 2014 Baggataway Cup. Thank you so much for being with us, and we can't wait to do it again next year. We'd love to be back and bring more of the best field lacrosse in Canada. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.